Excuse me, why is this a thing? Okay, nobody cares. Go away. I, it's random crap, and now I gotta readjust. Okay, come on. The lag, though. Good. Stop messing with my stuff because you have reasons. If it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not OBS, it's Twitch or YouTube or frickin' it's dumb. It's really annoying. Just decide to change stuff because you can. All right, now let's see. I have something for today. Let's see. Let's add. There we go. Why? That is incorrect. Okay, hang on. Why is this so... There. Yep. That. I don't know about that. Whatever. Fine. Okay, we're turning that off for the moment. But that is going to... this for you guys, and then I'll turn down my headphones. Okay. So, I have an overlay to assist when we do the Nim game today. So, we left off having accomplished a few things. We got a new outfit for Nate. I think it's just a collectible, I think. So I said last time after getting it, I was like, it doesn't seem to be a use, like an application in the game. So I think it's just like a collectible, kind of like the fishing hat and whatever. Interesting that they chose to do collectibles in this. I don't believe there were any in the first game. There might have been. I don't remember them, though, being in there. I think they all were useful. But anyway, so we got that. And what else did we do last time? I don't remember. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. So, yeah. Alright, so we're just going to chill here for a little bit, let some people come into the stream, and I'm going to see. There's this update that GOG keeps trying to install, but it won't, like, it just pretends like it needs to install something, but it won't. I keep getting notified about it, but the thing is, I tried to update, and GOG says, couldn't update, try reinstalling the application. So I did, from their website. And then it tells me I need to update to the newest. It's, like, can't figure out if it needs to update or not. I don't, it's just dumb. It's like, fix your technology, GOG. I don't understand what your deal is. Anyway, so we are now, let's see. Haven't really finished any other games from the stream this year yet. Although, to be fair, we did recently finish a couple from past years that we had not done, right? So I finished Don't Knock Twice, and also finished Obscure, right? So, and we're now in the course of other, I mean, not counting this, of course, we're in the course of playing other things from that time. So not this stream, but the next stream this weekend will be the Splitting, continuing that. It's the Splitting chapter 2, but it's still continuing that series. And then the third stream this weekend will be more of Get Even. So we're progressing through that. I think after we finish this, I probably will reinstall it, and then we'll place The Sinking City. I think that's going to be the plan. So after the Book of Unwritten Tales 2 is finished, then we'll do The Sinking City. So, okay. We're about to that point. I don't know if there's other stuff I can do. Probably there will be. But we're going to go ahead, and I might not beat it initially. Okay, but this overlay I put up here, this is the concept or the basic idea for the NIM game that we're going to play. Okay, so there are rules about this. And I'm going to kind of, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I might even fail a couple of times, right, in playing. Like, I might fail, I might lose the game a couple of times before I figure out, like, before I don't mess up. Because it is still something you have to pay attention to. It's not just something that's like, oh, no big deal. But the overlay that I'm showing now are the basic rules for the game. So let me get into it first.
Hi. Greetings, my subject.
My subject. Because he's the Pharaoh. Tut tut. Okay. So, we'll go back to this.
About this game. Yes. Shall we have a round?
Yes. Now, the key I learned, okay, I did not figure it out myself. I did some research online between last time and this time, so I understand the game and I know how you win. If I do it right. So you first always have your opponent start. So the main guiding principle to win in NIM game is to have a zero-sum value between all the different matches until there's not a way to maintain that without giving away the match to your opponent. That's basically like the last turn of the game. So we'll cover that. So let me go ahead and, so first we'll have you start. So Pharaoh Tut Tut will start.
Off we go. You start.
All right. Now, as you can see with the numbers I have up on the screen, they're not on my screen, but on your screen. Okay. Now he took his first turn, so obviously there were more initially. But if you look at these values, okay, there's 1 here, so there's the number 1 over here, okay. This is composed, so it's all powers of 2. So 2 to the 0 power is 1, just like any number is. 2 to the 1 power is 2, and then 2 to the 2 power, so 2 squared, is 4, right? And so that's the basic concept of the game. So this is composed of a 1, right? 2 to the 0 power is 1, so there's just a 1 here. This is 2 plus 1. This is 4 plus 1. So you always go to the highest you can next. So you could say 2, 2, 1, but that's not how it works. You always take the highest power you can out of the total first. So this is 1. This is 2 and 1. This is 4 and 1. Okay, and finally, when this started, before he took his 1 away, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 2, plus 1. Okay, so 1, 2 and 1, 4 and 1, 4, 2 and 1. Okay? So, in order to beat the game, you have to keep a zero sum, which means that these pairs have to match up. So there's one and one over here, 1 and 1 down here. That's paired up, paired up. 2 and 2 are paired up, and 4 and 4 are paired up. Okay? So you want to keep pairs. Now he's upset the balance. It's no longer a zero sum because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. So now we have two twos. We have a 2. We have a 4 and 2, so we have 4 and 2. So the 1 is gone. We have 4 and 1 still. We have 2 and 1, and we have 1. So we have the 1 and 1. But this 1 and 1, he took one away. So this one is no longer balanced. Okay? So what we want is a balance again. So we have a 1 and a 1 and a 1, but then we only have 4 and 2 here. So we need to take 1 away from this, so it's 4 and 1 again, right? Because then we would have 4 and 4, and then because there's just the 2 here, we take 1 away, so it's 1. Then we'd have 4 and 2, or 4 and 4, 1 and 1, 2 and, let's see, actually that's not going to work. Hang on, let me think. We want, okay, we got 4 and 4 still, for sure. We have 2 and 1. We have 2 and 1, so 2 and 2. Yeah, we need to take a 1 away. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. Okay. This 2 does pair up with this 2 up here. And this 4 still pairs up with this 4. So, hey, Fofox, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to start again explaining the strategy to win the Nim game, okay? Because I learned this last week. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I might mess up, but this is basically how you do it, okay? So first of all, ignore the fact... So the first thing is you always have your opponent go first. You will always win if you follow the correct strategy, the first part of which is have your opponent go first. So I had Pharaoh Tut go first, okay? So he took 1 away from here. Okay. Now, pretending that he did not take this away yet. Okay. We have 7, 5, 3, and 1. Those are basically all powers of 2, right? So 2 to the 0 power is 1. 2 to like any number. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, but thank you. Okay. So basically, any number to the 0 power is 1, right? So 5,493 to the 0 power is 1. Okay, always, that's always true. Any number to the 0 power is 1. So this top row is 2 to the 0 power. Okay, the second row, any number to the first power is the number, right? So 2 to the first power is 2. So it's 2 plus 1, 2 to the 0 power. Anyway, you get the idea. So 2 to the 0 power is 1, 2 to the first power is 2, and 2 to the second power, 2 squared, is 4. That's how these are broken down. You always take the highest number of those. So 1, 2, and 4. You take the highest of those away from the row to figure out what's left over. Okay, so the highest you can get out of this obviously is trying to win this game. This is a game you play. You have to take, basically the object of the game is to have your opponent take the last matchstick away, or the last ball. Okay, so your opponent takes the last ball away. If you take the last ball, so if I take the last ball away, I lose. So to win, I have to force my opponent to get in a situation where he has to take the last ball away. Does that make sense? So with that in mind, the way you win is you figure, it's a mathematical game. So you have to think mathematically, okay? But the way you win is to do this based on math. Okay? So, like I said, the rows are composed of those powers of 2. That's what the blue numbers on the right on my display on the stream are. That's to help you out to get the basic concept, okay? So you can follow along with me if you want, like write it on a piece of paper or something. I'll try to explain also as I go. But the numbers initially that are on the stream display are there to help you out. I'm going to take them away after I get started so I don't confuse you, okay? But I'm just to give you the starting idea. So this is, remember, it's 1, 2, and 4 are the numbers all of these rows are composed of, okay? So the first one, the highest of those 3 numbers it can be is 1, right? Because there's only one ball. So the first row is composed of 1. And that's what you see over here, this number 1 over here on the right side, just right by my webcam. That's all that's in that row. The second row, there is no 4 because you only have 3 balls, so it's got to be a 2 and a 1. 2 and a 1, okay? Obviously, you could say it's 1, 1, and 1, but that's not how it works. You always take the highest number you can out first before you figure out what's left over. 1 is not the highest that will come out of this, right? 2 is. So you go 1 comes out of here, 2 and a 1 compose the 3, right? That's fairly easy. Again, you could say 2 and 1, or 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, but that's not how it works. You always take the highest number. So 4 will come out of here. That's 4 plus 1, right? So the first row, only 1 will come out. Second row, 2 and 1, because 2 is the highest number, so you have to take that out. Third row, 4 is the highest number, and then 1 left over. So 4 and 1. And then the final row is, before he took his 1 away, was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1. Does that make sense? Okay, so with that basic idea in mind, you have to try to keep it a zero-sum game until the final turn. So a zero-sum means that everything matches up in nice pairs. So it's a little hard to see with a mouse pointer, but if you can see the mouse pointer here, I'm on the X, right, and then I move over, I'm by the 1s, okay. So if you can follow the mouse pointer, when you start out the game, okay, again, we're pretending he did not yet make his first move and take a ball away. So pretend all the balls are there still, currently, let's say, okay? When you very first start the game, you have everything paired up. 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 4 and 4. So it's a zero-sum game. In other words, 1 pairs with 1, so 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0, right? It's a zero-sum game. You pair them up, so no matter what, there's a pair, okay? Now, he took 1 away, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it on a piece of paper. I'm going to hold that up to the webcam so you can see my progress, okay? So hopefully that'll help you out some that way to see how I'm going about solving it, okay? And then you won't have like I said, I just had that initial image so that I could explain it. So now I'll take that away so that it doesn't get confusing for you, okay? So I'll write down the state we're in right now first, okay? So you have a 1, you have a 2 and 1, you have a 4, 2, and 1, just like what I showed you. Whoops, let's see. I don't know if you can see. There you go. Okay? 1, 2 and 1, 4, 2 and 1. That's how we started. Now he took 1 away. Okay? So I'm going to do a little arrow over so you can see this is the new set, the one we have now. Okay? So you have a 1. Oh, I messed up though. Okay, let me. I skipped a row. I was like, wait, something's wrong. Yeah, I missed writing down a row. We'll try it again. Okay. So, let me just do this so you don't confuse you. Okay. So you have a 1. You have a 2 and a 1. You have a 4 and a 1, and then a 4, 2, and 1. So you actually have this instead. Okay. You got 1, 2 and 1, 4 and 1, 4, 2 and 1. Okay. So 1, 2 and 1, 4 and 1, 4, 2 and 1. That's how they originally were set up. He took 1 away from the bottom. Okay. So we now end up with 1, 2 and 1, still 4 and 1 in the third row. The bottom row, however, has 4 and 2. Okay? So we've got now 1, 2 and 1, 4 and 1, 4 and 2. Because again, you always have to take the highest of the numbers that can fit into it. So of 4, 2, and 1, you always take the highest number first and then see what you have left over. So in the bottom row, the highest number is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there are 2 left over. And 2 is higher than 1, so it is a 2, not a 1 and a 1, okay? So 4 and 2 is left in the bottom row. Okay, so we need to stick with a zero-sum game. In other words, we need to have the pairs, right? So if we look at this, what does not have a pair? We have 2 4s, we have 2 2s, and we have 2 1s and 1 with 1 left over. We have to stick with a zero-sum game. So we want to get rid of one of the 1s. Now, technically, it doesn't matter which one of the 1s you get rid of. It really doesn't. You just need to stick with the pairs until the very last turn, until it's going to be your very last turn. When you can make a move and leave them with 1 left over, at that point you're no longer pairing it up, okay? But up until then, you keep it paired up. So it doesn't matter which one we take away. I'm going to, at least I don't believe so. So I'm going to take away the 1 from here. Okay, what that's going to leave us with, I'm going to write down what it will give us first before, because he's going to go like right after I go. So to avoid screwing you up, like confusing you, I'm going to write down what we will have left over when I finish my turn. And then we'll write down again what he leaves us with after he takes his turn. Okay? So I'm going to take, I haven't yet, but I'm going to remove 1 from here, from the second row. When I do that, we will end up with this last box, right? When I take 1 away from the second row, we're going to have a 1, a 2, a 4 and 1, and a 4 and 2. 2 4s, 2 2s, 2 1s. We're paired up. It's back to a zero sum, so we're good. So I will remove this one. Now, the number, I need to make sure I specify this too, because it's easy to confuse this as well. When we're talking about 1, 2, and 4, we're talking about balls left over. Okay? We're not talking about how many I take away each turn. Like in any given turn, I might take 3 balls away, or I might take 5 balls away. Okay? I can take any number of balls away, and the number I take away does not matter as long as it leaves us with pairs of 1s, pairs of 2s, and pairs of 4s. Okay? So I can take any number away. I just need to be left over with pairs of 1s, pairs of 2s, and pairs of 4s of the balls in different rows. Okay? So don't think you have to remove 2 or 4 or 1. That's not always true. You can remove 3 or 5 or something. It's okay. Okay. So I'm going to take 1 away from the second row. And then this, yeah, checkbox. Okay. Now he takes 1 away from the bottom row again. Okay, so now we have, I forgot I have to click check. So I can actually select it so you can see what's going away before I click the checkbox. Okay, so the top row is still 1. Okay, the second row is a 2. The third row, again, we take the highest number. So the third row is 4, leaving us with 1. So it's 4 and 1 still. The bottom row, now we take the highest number again, is 4 and 1. Because it's 5, right? So we now end up with this, okay? So he did his move. Now we have 1 in the top row, 2 in the second row, 4 and 1 in the third row, and it shifted over, but still 4 and 1 in the final row. Okay, we have 2 4s, we have 2 1s, we have 1 2 and 1 1. Now, how can we get a pairing? Now, if I did like something like if I took 2 away, let's say, I'm not going to, but let's say I took 2 away from the third row. That would pair up 2 2s, 2 1s, but then I would still have a 4 and a 1 without a pairing, right? That's a bad thing to do. I'm trying to pair them up. So what I want to do is do whatever move I can do to create pairs again. I already have 2 4s and 2 1s. I should not mess with those if I can help it, because they're already paired up. So I have a 2 and a 1. So if I take 1 away from the second row, I have 1 and 1. Then I have 1 and 1 paired up, 1 and 1 paired up, 4 and 4 paired up, right? So that will give me a 0 sum again. So my new move is going to be to take 1 away from there. Then I will be left with 1 and 1, 4 and 1, 4 and 1. Which, like we already talked about, is nice and paired up. 1 and 1, right? Because it went from 2. It went 1 and 2, 4 and 1, 4 and 1. I took 1 away from the second row. We end up with 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 4 and 4. Nice and paired up, a 0 sum game again. Okay, so I'll take the 1 away and we'll be paired up again. He took 1 away from this third row, which means now we no longer have the 1 and 1 balance like we had, right? Now we have 1 and 1. Then we have 4, but no 1. And then in the bottom row, we also have 4 and 1. Right? So this is what we have now. So we had this. He took 1 from the third row, so now we have this. Okay, again, I want to pair up. I've got 2 4s, and I've got 3 1s. Take 1 1 away, and you've got 4 4 1 1. You're paired up again, right? So I'll take from this top row, and then that will leave us, okay, after I remove that, that will leave us with 1, 4, 4, and 1. Which will be paired up again. Okay? This is all a balancing game until the very last move. Okay, so I'll take that 1 away. We're good. Okay, what does he do now? He takes 1 from the bottom row. Okay? So again, we've got nothing in the top row. We've got 1 in the second row, 4 in the third row, and now we don't have 4 and 1. We just have 4 in the final row. Okay. So again, this is what he left us with. 4, 4, and 1. That's pretty easy peasy, right? I take a 1 away and I've got 2 4s. I'm paired up. So that should be easy enough. So I go here, and then I go like this. Okay, now he made it so we have okay, that was my move. And this is his move. So he now gives us 2 and 1 and a 4. Okay? Gives us 2 and 1 and a 4. That's not really tricky because that third row is a 3, right, in value. So if I take 1 away from 4, that leaves 3. And then 3 is broken into 2 and 1. So if I take 1 away from this bottom row, we're going to be left with 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Right? If I take 1 away from the 4, that's 3 left over. I'm with 2 2s and 2 1s. So I have to take 1 away from this bottom row. Boom. Now he chooses to take 1 away from the third row. Okay, so now we end up with, I'll kind of do little dotted lines so you can see the other rows that have gone away. Just in case. But so we're left with 2 in the third row, and then 2 and 1 in the bottom row. Okay. So after I went, he leaves us with this. Okay, we had this, 2 and 1, 2 and 1. That's what I created. He took 1 away from the third row. So now we have 2 and then 2 and 1. Again, we want, until the very last move, we want to keep them even. Now, we could say, oh, well, I could just take 3 away. Yeah, but then that leaves 2. If I leave 2 to him, he'll take 1 away, and then I'll have to take the last one. I don't want that. Same thing if I took the other away. If I took 2 away from row 3, so there are 3 in the bottom row, he just takes 2 away, and there's 1 left, and I have to take it. Again, until I can guaranteed leave him with only one. I have to keep a balance. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I want to keep these even. Because if he takes one away from here, he leaves me with one. If he takes two away, then he leaves me with a row all to myself, and I can do what I was describing that he could do. Right? So in other words, if I take one away from here, okay, that leaves 2 and 2. No matter what, if he takes 2 away from here, I take 1 and he's left with 1. If he takes 1 away from here, I take both of these, he's left with 1. I've now backed him into a corner. There's no possible way he can, if I don't mess up here and I do this right, 2 and 2, right? You're trying to keep them balanced. If I take 1 away, or if I take if I take 1 away from here, so then it's 2 and that doesn't make sense anyway. Anyway, so you get the idea. So 2 and 2 is what I'm leaving with. So I take 1 here. Okay, and then that's going to leave him with 2 and 2. Okay, so we had this 2 and 1. Now I'm going to leave him with 2 and 2. Again, keeping the balance. He takes 1. Now it's impossible because I can take any number that I want from a row at one time. Any number. It doesn't matter how many, right? So if I take these 2, he's left with 1 and I win. And that's how you win the NIM game. You have to, like, if your mind really quickly calculates, then you can just go boom, 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 boom. But if it takes you a second to calculate, just be careful. Just make sure you're going max number, 4, 2, or 1, whichever. Take the max number that will go into a row, and that tells you how much you're left with. And you can figure out then the next max number, 2 or whatever. And by doing that, you're able to figure out how many balls will be left and where you'll have your pairings and how you can then win against your opponent. That strategy works no matter what, as long as your opponent goes first. Because the game starts at a 0 sum. And you're trying to maintain a 0 sum until the very last move. So in order for you to maintain a 0 sum, you must let your opponent break the 0 sum. And then you just restore the 0 sum until, like now, where it's the last move. And so I go boom, and we win.
That is... No.
Come on, you have to take a marble.
But that would mean I have lost?
Yep, that's exactly what it would mean.
But I never lose.
It certainly would be better that way. What would your people say if the godlike Pharaoh were to lose against a mere mortal?
They must never find out.
You could bribe me with something.
Yes, or I could have you squashed by my golem.
A bribe? Excellent idea.
Aha! Of course. I just came up with that. What would you like?
Psychological.
Book of the Dead?
It's yours. In exchange, you won't tell anyone that I watched the temple virgins when they were changing.
What?
Agreed.
What? TMI, bruh. No, what? How did you draw that connection? That is not what we talked about just now. What the crap? Okay. Well, anyway, so that's how you win the game. We won because we made him go first and then kept a 0-sum game till the very end. So now we can grab the Book of the Dead. Okay, why are you not taking it? Take it.
The Book of the Dead. So what now?
We have the book, the compass, and the spark of life.
Everything we need to bring Alistair back.
Let's hope so. Off to the Oracle. Gulasam, Erith, Barium, Eccentric.
Good. And now the spark of life.
Oh, I give that to him, I guess. Okay. How? Where are we putting it? Oh, there. Okay. Use the spark of life on the frog, right? Makes sense. Okay. Okay, you said, huh, faux fox? So what were you talking about his response about the virgins, or were you talking about something else? If it's something else, go ahead and type it while I use the bathroom really fast, and then I'll explain. Oh yeah. Okay. Just making sure. Sometimes something might happen and maybe you didn't see a previous part of the game or something, and so you get confused. You're not sure what's going on. Just making sure. Okay, so we'll use the spark of life on the frog.
It didn't work.
What happened?
Archmage Alistair!
Why am I a frog?
Yeah, why is he still a frog?
We've brought his spirit back into this world. Turning him human again was never part of the deal.
But
There is a simple way to change a frog back into a human being. It just needs to be kissed by a virgin princess.
But where are we going to find one of them?
I was gonna say, obviously, Ivo is pregnant because of magical means, not because of. What is happening? I don't have. Oh, okay. I guess it's saying I'm in control of her. I was like, I don't have a thing I can do, but I guess I'm just on with Ivo right now.
Up to now, he's always known what he's doing. Let's hope it stays that way. I did not do the sex thing!
Really? Then prove it.
I admit it. I couldn't have managed this without Nate and Critter. The Oracle was right. But now it's my turn.
Oh, thank you.
But I don't understand. Why is Ivo pregnant?
The artifact.
Huh?
The artifact of divine fate can fulfill any wish, and Ivo carried it for a long time. If one spends enough time in the presence of such a powerful magical object, then the magic can linger. It keeps working, even when the object itself isn't there anymore.
But I didn't wish for a child.
I'm not saying you did.
Well, yes, I...
You did this to me? You wanted to start a family with me.
That's... Yes, but I didn't know. Ivo of the Woodland Realm, will you be my wife and spend the rest of your life with me?
Yes! Yes!
Congratulations to both of you.
Aw.
Soon we'll be a real family. And we didn't even have to have that sex thing to do it.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Now, tell me, what has happened?
You were changed into a frog by the little Van Buren.
There was a golem and Monkus.
He tricked Wilbur, but you sorted out the golem in seconds, and Monkus wouldn't have been a problem for you either.
But then there was this incredible magical energy. It caught me completely by surprise.
That was the little brat. She'd got hold of Wilbur's wand, and because she's a descendant of the evil sorcerer that made the wand...
Wilbur's magic wand is the wand of... May the gods protect us.
She's transformed half of Seastone, and she's been here too. I've seen some wizardry in my life, but what this girl's been up to? Whoa, Nelly.
Where are Wilbur and Remy?
I'm so sorry, Archmage, but Remy is dead. He was killed by a ghost.
He's... No, I can still feel him.
He died in Wilbur's arms, in the temple in which he found Wilbur's magic wand all those years ago.
Which temple is that?
I don't know exactly. Wilbur thought it was dedicated to some evil god. He called him the Nameless One.
The Nameless One.
So that's not very good.
Some sorcerers held rituals there and built a machine.
The wand. It went from the Van Burens to Wilbur via Remy, and then to the Van Buren girl. I should have examined it more closely.
Wilbur is doing what Remy asked him. He's searching for a book which details how Van Buren's wand can be destroyed.
That wasn't Remy, and the book doesn't tell us how to destroy the wand either. The Van Buren brothers were... We have to stop Monkus and his mad scheme at all costs.
Monkus? Aren't the Van Burens the real problem? They're transforming the whole world bit by bit.
A world which will perish if Monkus gets his hands on the book from the Dark Woods. Quick, hand me my magic wand.
That's... well, now...
You haven't brought it with you, have you?
It must still be in Seastone.
We have to retrieve it immediately. Without it, I can't channel my powers. I feel weaker than ever.
I'll fire up the Mary. Let's go.
All right.
Hi, Critter. We've turned the Archmage back to normal, and you won't believe it, but Ivo and me...
You tricked me! Where is the elf?
Hey, careful with that thing.
What's going on here?
Alistair? This time there'll be no way back!
Ivo!
Come on, Alistair! Or are you going to carry on hiding behind your friends?
Nate!
Ivo, you have to go, now.
No, I have to help him.
Oha, kulohahu.
Mommy, I've made it ever so pretty in there.
Don't worry, my darling. The nice Archmage hasn't got a wand, and he is weak.
So now we're playing Archmage Alistair, I guess.
This is not about you and your little coup d'etat, Mrs. Van Buren. There are other powers at work here, sinister powers.
Which you, of course, will be able to prevent if we let you go, right?
You don't understand. We are talking about the end of the world.
You'd say anything to save your neck, Alistair.
The wand has to be destroyed. It will lead to untold suffering.
It is the key to power. My power.
Chantal, if we don't destroy the wand, then terrible things will happen.
Don't listen to him.
But it's mine, and I'm not doing anything terrible.
That's right, my little snuggle bunny.
Snoogle Boony? Like, the accent's fine, but, like, when she said that particular phrase, it sounded especially, like, I don't know, not sinister exactly, but something anyway.
Put that head away. It's dangerous. There is no known cure for being turned to stone.
That's why no one will dare question my bid for power. The most powerful wand in the world and a head that turns any being of flesh and blood to stone. We have both of Avantasia's most powerful weapons in our hands. No one will be able to stop us.
You're right. This has to end here.
You want to stop us?
He split his spirit out. I guess he learned how to do that in the process of everything? I guess.
Shoot! We have won!
You have not won. I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Okay, Gandalf.
But this is all nonsense. If that's what happened, then I would be... No. What kind of a place do you think this is, Nate? Ah!
Let me go!
You can't help him now.
But we can't just leave him behind.
We have to stop Monkus. Using the temple will open a door to the Nameless One's dungeon dimension.
I couldn't give a about this Nameless One. I have to rescue my husband.
Ivo, he's out of our reach.
Is there no hope then?
Yes, there is. But if the wand does what it was created for, then it will mean the end of all hope. For Nate, for you, and for your child. If you want to rescue him, you have to go to Seastone.
What do I have to do?
I lied to Van Buren. I have no power anymore. It takes all my remaining strength to stay in the land of the living, but soon I will have to leave it. That is why it's up to all of you to stop Monkus. He must not be allowed to use the machine in the temple.
I will stop him.
Be careful. He is clever, powerful, and prepared to do anything. I will try to warn Wilbur in the Dark Woods. He's been conned and is playing right into the enemy's hands. I don't have much time left. Goodbye, Ivo.
But what shall I do Oh. I will come back as quickly as I can, and we shall be reunited, my love. Right now, our hope is in Seastone and with Wilbur in the dark woods.
Wilbur's in the dark woods, and it's like our hope is with the two hobbits in the land of with a ring in the land of Mordor.
Yes. Some villager will know where old Van Buren lived, and maybe even where we can find the book.
Shouldn't I come with you?
If your feet hurt as much as mine do, then I don't want to do that to you. I won't be gone long. Will you please look after Timmy?
Don't worry, he's sleeping. When you get back, there'll be hot sausages waiting for you.
I can hardly wait.
More Lord of the Rings with the sausages being cooked. And then there, of course, there very well might be Harry Potter coming down here, right?
Like a graveyard.
The village that's mostly deserted. There's like a graveyard. We're looking for the ancestors. It's very well could end up being something along those lines. Okay, I'm going to save here just so we don't lose progress. Okay. Save. If I go back here, yep. Okay. Back.
It's hard to say how old the village is. Might have been here at the edge of the woods for hundreds of years. The village looks pretty run down. Nothing but makeshift repairs everywhere, if any. The village looks pretty...
I don't expect any of this stuff close by to be accessible, really, but just in case, I don't want to leave, so we'll not do that, obviously. Spear sticking out? What the heck? Swords and potions. So many that there are things sticking out of all the windows, I guess. Okay.
This is the only building in the village with a light on. Seems to be some kind of general store.
Enter the woods. Let's not do that right now. Bedsheet?
Someone still seems to be living here, though. That bedsheet hasn't been hanging there for long. Someone...
Okay. Graveyard.
Graveyards are pretty scary, even under normal circumstances. But this one, oh, it's extra spooky.
Is it extra spooky?
I wonder why people in the far-flung villages can never put the gravestones and crosses in straight. Can't they use a square or level, or, just their eyes?
Just their eyes. Yeah, they shift because over time the ground gets softer, like with the rain or something, and then they no longer stay straight like they were before.
The church looks as if no one has been there in years. A ghost church. Not like a church for ghosts. A church for humans. Nothing to do with the spiritual world at all. You know.
You know.
Just like all the buildings in the village. Deserted, spooky, and also somehow a little bit sad.
Okay, I think that's it over here. Furnace.
There hasn't been a fire in that furnace for years. And considering how crooked it is, I should take care that it doesn't fall in on top of me. The house of a craftsman, it would appear. Wooden boards, bricks, and over there a bit of thatch and a few roof tiles. Fired bricks for building houses. Presumably there's a source of clay close by. The craftsman must have left the house years ago. He'd be a busy man in the village these days.
He'd be busy. Oh, because he'd be rebuilding houses, I guess. Yeah, but if nobody's here, you wouldn't be busy, right? I mean, you could do the work, but nobody's going to pay you for the work or anything, so that doesn't make sense. But okay, that's fine. Knock on the door.
Hello? Anyone home?
Go away! You're not having my head!
I don't want your head. I just want a bit of information.
Begone, headless horseman! You won't fool me!
Oh, that's what we're going for. Oh. So we're going for Sleepy Hollow. I see. I still think this has Harry Potter vibes. Like, in the Deathly Hallows, right? Where they go to the village where where Tom Riddle's parents, ancestors, whatever it was, I can't remember now, lived. Anyway.
Hey, there's a headless horseman out here.
Oh, yeah, as if you didn't know that. He's hunting me. He wants my head so he can put it on his own shoulders.
Are you sure it wants your head? Or just anyone's head? I mean, what do you think he'd do if he saw a gnome with a fine big head?
Just go away, you fiend.
My name is Wilbur Weathervane. I'm a gnome, live in Seastone. I just want to ask you a few questions.
Oh, yeah, of course. A gnome from Seastone walks into the dark woods on his own and just wants to ask a few questions. Oh, yeah.
I am not alone. I'm with a living skeleton, a zombie, a robot, and a talking rat. There's really no reason to be worried.
Enough! Begone, demon!
You're not helping your cause, Wilbur.
Can we talk inside? Then we wouldn't have to shout.
Oh, now I get it. You're the devil. You can't enter my shop without me inviting you. No, there you go.
I'm not the devil. Promise.
Yeah, the devil's second best trick is making you believe he's not the devil.
That's ridiculous. I'm going to open the door now.
What is with the at the end of his sentences? That's from a character from like Monty Python or something. I don't remember.
Die, monster!
Hey, you could have hit me.
Don't move!
Aren't you supposed to say, don't move first and then shoot?
Oh. There's no psychokinetic energy. You're not magic.
Thank you for reminding me.
No, he is, but he's...
Who are you? What do you want here?
It's more, he's not magic, but he can do magic, right?
Excuse me, your name is?
Whale. Tim Whale.
And you own the shop?
Oh, yes, sir, yes. And I'm the mayor of this beautiful village. And the priest, the fireman, the landlord, the coachman, and the smith. I also teach netball.
Ooh, sounds like you're a busy man.
Has its perks. We usually reach a swift consensus in council meetings. Hey, maybe you'd like to move to Somberville. I can offer you the post of bailiff.
I'm not staying here for any longer than necessary.
It's the nameless terror lurking in the woods, right? I can't blame you, no.
I mean, that's not why, but I guess that's extra reason not to.
As I said, my name is Weathervane, Wilbur Weathervane. I'm searching for information about a certain Van Buren. He must have lived there quite a while ago.
The sorcerer! Evil character. Oh, you shouldn't get involved with people like that.
He's not still alive, is he?
No, he's been dead for more than 30 years. I remember how the grown-ups marched up to the castle with pitchforks and torches. Really traditional-like. Well, in retrospect, if they hadn't killed him, we might not have been cursed.
Real traditional, like? Those good old traditions. Hey, Monmouth, welcome. Good day. Yeah. I will try to very briefly kind of summarize. So we beat the Nim game against King Tut Tut. Do you know how the Nim game works? Like, I learned, and over the last week I learned how the Nim game was supposed to work and how you could beat it. So I beat that. We got from King Tut Tut, as a compromise, because King Tut Tut was like, wait, you won, but nobody can know I won. And Nate was like, well, we could come to an agreement. And King Tut Tut was like, or I could have my golem squish you. And Nate was like, agreement, perfect. What do you want in exchange? And he was like, I will give you, King Tut Tut was like, what do you want? And Nate's like, the Book of the Dead. So we did a trade for that in exchange for technically not saying that he lost, technically in exchange for saying he didn't peek on virgins, which was just out of nowhere, weird. Anyway, we then had the Book of the Dead, the Spark of Life, and I don't remember the last thing that we needed. We had all three of those. And so we took them to the Oracle and then said some words, and we returned Alistair's spirit to the frog. And then the frog had to be kissed by a virgin so that he could turn into a human, obviously. So the prince and the frog. Anyway. And so Ivo proved that she did not have sex to get pregnant because she kissed the frog, and then Alistair turned human again. And it turned out that the whatever it was called, the artifact, the something of divine fate or whatever it was called that they had in the first game. So they had that with them for a time, right, before Alistair instructed them to take it away. Well, they had it during that time. Nate wished to have a child with Ivo. Like, he wanted eventually to marry her and then to have a kid with her. So Nate wanted a child with Ivo. That wish lingered. So even after the artifact was gone, that wish became reality. So Ivo became pregnant. That's how the magic works. So it wasn't even a curse so much as just that artifact made Nate's desire reality. So Ivo became pregnant. So once realizing that, Ivo was like, you want to have a child with me? And so Nate dropped on his knee and proposed. So they are going to be married at some point. And then they went back to the island where the pirate was to try to find a way to stop Van Buren and everything. Anyway, in the process, Van Buren came out, like Mrs. Van Buren, so the mom, came out of where the pirate had been. She had the Medusa head. And Nate blocked Ivo from getting turned to stone by getting turned to stone himself. So Nate's a statue now. We did have a brief clip where we saw that he's trapped inside. So he's still alive, but he's stone. His body is stone. So Critter took Ivo away and they went back to the Mary so that she wouldn't risk turning to stone as well. Alistair said he lied to Van Buren. He's not really all that powerful. But he forced his spirit out, even though he'd been reunited and turned back to human, he forced his spirit out of his body. So his body collapsed, dead. His ghost walked through. Van Buren tried to use the Medusa head, didn't do anything to a ghost because it only turns flesh to stone. So his spirit crushed the head. And then Chantal, the daughter, tried to use her wand. That, of course, also didn't affect him. He went to go grab the wand, but Chantal created a portal and stepped through before he could get to her. He went back to Ivo and basically said, oh, and Mrs. Van Buren. So the Chantal created two portals. Mrs. Van Buren went through one, Chantal went through the other. So anyway, and then Alistair went back to the Mary and told Ivo that he was going to go try to talk to Wilbur in the dark woods. And otherwise, that would be probably one of the last things he could do. He lied to Van Buren. He used the Gandalf line, strike me down and I will become more possible than you could possibly imagine. But wait, that's not Gandalf, is it? Strike me down and I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. No, that's Gandalf. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, she used that line though from whatever that was. Anyway, or he did. Anyway, he went back to the ship and said he lied though. He's running out of energy. He won't be around as a ghost very long. So he told Ivo goodbye and told her what he was going to do and what she should do. And then he left to go find Wilbur. So we then cut to Wilbur here, or well, he was on the path with, I don't remember their names now. The two zombies and the robot son, Nate with an 8. And Timmy was there as well. Right? So they're all up at a campsite. They're making sausages, so when Wilbur comes back, they'll have sausages waiting for him. And get off the grave, we can get off the wall, yeah. And Jesus, amen, omnipresent, yeah. And then Wilbur, in the meantime, came down to the village here. And now, apparently, the village is haunted by the Headless Horseman from Sleepy Hollow. So we've got that going on now, too. So anyway, so that's kind of where we are. For the Nim game, yeah, because you said positive or negative something. So basically, to beat the Nim game, it's relatively simple conceptually. You just have to be really attentive. So basically, you have rows. 1 ball in the top row, 3 in the second row, 5 in the third row, 7 in the fourth row, right? And so even though it doesn't apply with a display now, I'll really quickly put up what I had earlier tonight when I beat the game so you can get the idea. So basically, you have to take powers of 2, divide the rows into powers of 2, and you always take the highest number first to figure out what's left in the row. So the top row had 1 ball, so obviously 2 to the 0 power is 1, just like any number. So 1, 2 to the 0 power, that's 1 in the first row, okay? Second row is 3. 2 to the first power is 2, so you always take the highest number first. So 2 plus 1 is 3, so that's the second row. Third row is 5. You can get 4, 2 squared, out of there. So you do that instead of 2. You don't go 2, 2, 1. You take the highest number you can out of those 3 first. So 4, it's 5. So 4, and that leaves 1 left over. So 4 and 1 in the third row. And then finally in the last row, you have 4, 2, and 1. Right? So 1 in the top row, 2 and 1 in the second row, 4 and 1 in the third row, 4, 2 and 1, makes 7 in the last row. Now you'll notice when you very first start the game, before anybody takes any balls, you have pairs, 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 4 and 4. Having things paired up is called a zero-sum game. The reason being, if you subtract 1 away from 1, you have 0. 1 from 1 is 0, 2 from 2 is 0, 4 from 4 is 0, right? So you always make your opponent go first. They will break the zero sum. They'll take something away and you'll no longer have a balanced pairing. Every time they take any number of balls, whether they take 1 at a time or that, because you can take any number of balls from a single row in a turn, right? So no matter how many balls they take from a row in their turn, you want to balance out. So when you finish your turn, you're back to pairs. However you do that. Now, I might, on my turn, need to remove 3 or 5 balls to get to pairing up 4s and 2s and 1s again, right? The 4s, 2s, and 1s are important for numbers of what's left in the rows. That has nothing to do with how many you take away. How many you take away on your turn is to balance the numbers back out so they're paired up again. You do that all the way until what's left will let you, after taking your turn, leave your opponent with 1 ball. So let's say we ended up with a 4, a 4, and a 1. No, let's say we ended up with a 4, a 4, and a 1 in like 4 and 1 in the bottom row and 4 here. Okay. If I'm paired up, I want to balance them and take 1 away, right? However, let's say I'm left with 2 and 1 and 4. I would take 1 away to get 2 and 1, 2 and 1. You get the idea. And at the very end, however many you need to take away, might just be 1, might be more than 1, but however many balls you take away on your turn needs to leave 1 ball left on the board that your opponent will have to take on their turn, and then you win. And that's basically how you do it. It's a zero-sum game. So after you finish doing that, you end up with they take the final 1, and then you win. The only way to guarantee you win. Now, if your opponent messes up, of course, you could still potentially win. But the only way to guarantee you win is to have them go first. If you go first, you're breaking the balance and causing yourself to be in the bad situation. Anyway. All right, so we're all caught up, I think. So Alistair got turned back into a human with his soul, but then split his soul from his body to temporarily defeat Van Buren, make her and Chantal run away. He doesn't have very long to stay a ghost, though, and then he'll be gone. He'll die. He told Ivo what was going on, and then he's heading to the woods to help Wilbur. Oh, that was one other thing that we learned also. While Wilbur was heading for the Dark Wood, it turns out that Remy, that we thought was dead, was not dead. Alistair said he could still feel Remy's presence. So Remy was not actually dead. What we thought was Remy dying was a trick. Probably, obviously, because we've seen it happen with other things, probably the Remy we saw was actually Munkus pretending to be Remy. So Wilbur thought it was Remy, so Wilbur left to go try to find the Van Buren's ancestor and get a book from there that will help him understand whatever he needs to know to try to stop the wand. That's what Wilbur thinks. But in actuality, getting that book apparently will mean that Munkus will show up, take the book from Wilbur, and then Munkus will be able to have the book plus the wand. Like, he'll have the book so he can get the wand from Chantal, and then he'll be able to destroy the world, basically. So that's where we are. So now you're all caught up. I know it's quite a bit. A lot happened in a little bit of short amount of time. So, but now you know. Now you're caught up.
Van Buren cursed you?
The whole village? Everyone knew he was doing unholy experiments in his castle, but in principle we got on all right with each other. I mean, we'd never have stormed his castle if the paladins and the mages hadn't spurred us on. They said it was our duty to help them against evil.
They must have been the same as those who were fighting the cult of the Nameless One.
Whoever they were, they disappeared once the sorcerer was dead and left us to deal with the curse on our own.
Yeah, so like I said, so this village is cursed with basically the Headless Horseman. So that's what's going on now.
The curse makes people disappear.
Not exactly. This has always been a special place, you know? I mean, for example, it's always night here and the moon is always full. The woods and the mountains confuse the senses, things like that. You could say the people in this region are used to quite a lot. But after the sorcerer was killed, oh, it was different.
The Headless Horseman?
Oh, not just him. Others too. Repulsive creatures. They come from the woods and hunt us. One after the other was snatched and dragged into the woods. I'm the only one left.
He says the creatures in the forest makes me think of the RUSs from The Princess Bride. The rodents of unusual size. Okay.
It's always night here in the village. That's just crazy.
And why is that crazy? In other places, it's always summer. Summer up north, there's an island where it always rains. Here, it's always night. Oh, some people come to the region especially, just like how others move to warmer climes. I mean, for example, a gentleman moved into the castle some years ago. A count, in fact. He doesn't seem to have a problem with it always being night. And a full moon?
That's because he's a vampire, bro. Well, or a full moon. Full moon could also be a werewolf. Right, but yeah. Count Dracula, obviously, so Dracul.
The castle up on the mountain over there. That's where the sorcerer lived.
Yeah, that's where he lived. And that's where he died.
Then that's where I have to go.
Good luck. You'll never find the way through the mountains.
Fancy showing me?
You mean leave my shop? While the Headless Horseman is out there waiting for me? Oh, never. I'm the very last one who still lives in this village. Oh, some fled, but most...
I like his facial expression.
When I die, the village dies. Yeah, and what would my forefathers say about that, eh?
I mean, they're gone. They probably wouldn't say much. There, if the mythology in this world is once you die, you're gone, then obviously they're not going to know what happened. And if your ancestors linger on, like some religions teach and so on, then that would mean that they probably could see you, but they're probably busy with other stuff, I would guess. Why would, if I was going to linger on for forever as a spirit somewhere, a ghost or whatever, I wouldn't really care what people who are living do. I'd be busy with my own. I'd try to figure out how not to be bored for eternity or something, right? So I don't feel like that really tracks, but okay, whatever. Why would somebody moved on to another world be so focused on what you're doing in this world? That seems like that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe some would be. Maybe they have different personalities. I wouldn't. I would be like, forget that noise. I'm done. I'm moved on. Let's do something else. What are you going to do about the Headless Horseman? Yeah.
As mayor, I'm sure you've a plan how to stop the Headless Horseman, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. I've sent a bounty hunter after him, yes.
That could prove difficult to achieve, for several reasons.
Oh, maybe you want to try your luck.
No, I'm not a bounty hunter, and also I don't have the time. I've got to find a book so I can destroy a magic wand.
Oh, well, if that's more important than saving Somberville from extinction, then go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks for your help. We'll be leaving for the castle early tomorrow.
There is, of course, a problem.
What? Knowing when tomorrow is?
No. I'm talking more about the hidden ravines, razor-sharp rocks, wobbly cliff ledges, and secret paths. Easy. You can't reach the castle if you don't know the way.
Ah, I know how this works. I have to reach the castle on a matter of utmost urgency, and you're the only one that can help. And you just happen to have a problem with the Headless Horseman. But you know what? Not this time. Because if I let myself be distracted from my actual task, something bad will happen to one of my friends. I have a clear goal, and I grew up in the mountains. I'll find the way without any help. Good day. Good night.
That's probably why he at the end said that, right? I was like, he's probably going to say good night. I mean, not day, night, whatever. Yeah.
Now that I'm not a mage anymore, perhaps I should try to become a powerful warrior. I think I'd look quite good in some armor like that.
Yeah, Wilbur still has the complex that he can't do magic, even though just because he happens to have done some things in the first, right, in the first game that seemed like magic but were not actual magic, he did use actual magic. So, I mean, yeah, the wand ended up being cursed, but he got the wand that let him do things like some of the kobolds and whatnot. So, I just feel like he just has lost faith in himself. I don't feel like he's not magical. I'm pretty sure he is actually magical. He just needs, I mean, it was like when Alistair, when Alistair was restored to being human again, he said that he needed his wand, which he didn't have, but he needed his wand to be able to channel his power properly, right? It's the same thing with Wilbur. Wilbur doesn't need to like snap. He's not like a, I don't even know, like a 1950s witch or something, like in the United States, right? Like that show Bewitched. Like he's not like a witch where you just like snap your fingers and boom, something happens, right? It's like more like a witch like Harry Potter where you need to channel with your wand, right? So Alistair needed to do that, and Alistair's supposed to be the greatest mage that ever lived, or at least the greatest mage in forever. Then that means obviously Wilbur would need to use a wand too if Alistair did. Anyway.
That over there, that's a magic circle on the ground, isn't it?
Do you know anything about dispelling ghosts?
A bit. Doesn't the ghost have to be in the magic circle, rather than the person who is trying to cast the spell on the ghost?
If you can trap ghosts in a thing like this, then surely you can lock them out too. The circle is my last line of defence in case the salt in front of the windows and doors doesn't stand firm. Yeah.
The beings from the woods, are they ghosts then?
Oh, well, there are all kinds of things living there. Why not ghosts too? Better safe than sorry.
I don't know if it was a legend prior to that or not, but at least there's also the reference to salt on windowsills and door, like, entryways to rooms in the series Supernatural. That was what, like 10 years, 11 years, whatever, however long it was. They did that anytime they encountered a ghost, pretty much. So there's at least that. I'm assuming that's probably from some legend, but I'm not as versed on different legends about ghosts and things. I know a lot, but not specifics like, oh, salt will keep them out. I don't know stuff like that. So
I've never seen so many locks, chains, and magic spells on a single door. And the crossbow bolts indicate that a very, very nervous person lives here.
yeah, that's the other thing too. Is if Wilbur's no good at magic, how is it he can just look at a door frame and say, oh, look, there are a bunch of spells on the door? You obviously know your stuff, bro. Anyway. Yeah, I'll take a crossbow bolt. Sure, why
I'm
not?
sure that Mr. Mayor won't object to me borrowing one of these bolts. Hey, let's face it, he does seem to be firing them all over the place.
Yeah, he shot one into the door and narrowly missed Wilbur when we came in. Okay, barrel.
I guess the barrel is full of some kind of acid or holy water, or something else that the mayor thinks will protect him from intruders. That must be from something like a wild boar sheep cow. Maybe Mr. Whale would be a bit less scared if he didn't surround himself with such creepy things.
Wild boar sheep cow. Sure. Maybe Wilbur shouldn't do magic. He actually gets strong with magic and he makes crap up. He's going to create some gruesome things, potentially.
I don't think the shop is doing well. Sure, a motley selection of armor, weaponry, food, and magic posters always tends to work. But if the shop is stuck out in the middle of nowhere and no one is sending heroes to the area, then who is going to buy all this stuff?
He keeps looking like under his chair and stuff, yeah, and then looking around frightened and everything. I like this, that they have characters moving and stuff, doing stuff like that while you're busy with other things.
The shelves seem to be some kind of catch-all for things even the most optimistic shop owner couldn't hope to sell quickly. If I had more time, I'd love to rummage. I love this kind of stuff. I don't think the shop is doing well. Sure, a motley, but if the...
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
The ship...
Alright. Just repeated, cycled through the same things again. Oh, look at the crossbow.
A crossbow is a devastatingly effective weapon. At least it is, if you manage to hit something.
Hey, I just sell the weapons. I don't know how to use them.
Yeah. You have to hit something with a crossbow and then also be able to load the crossbow quickly enough. So it depends on the size and everything, but crossbows were not fast to load because you'd have a spring that would be used when released to give energy to fire the bolt, right? But you would have to pull the spring back, which means you had this big lever and it took a lot of muscle to pull that back. And it was a slow kind of a process. That's not a quick react kind of a weapon, right?
Statistically, if you have a crossbow in the house, you're more likely to shoot yourself than a burglar.
Well, statistics are made by people who don't live in a cursed village.
At least it is, if you manage...
Hey!
Oh, yeah, okay. That's it. All right. There's this weird, I don't know if it's a bug or if I'm just like not clicking on my mouse well lately, but there's this weird thing where I click and nothing seems to happen, even though I actually clicked. That's all of that is the shelf still. So we've already done that. Armor over here. That's similar to this stuff. Is it going to be the same or?
What's this here? Metal underwear?
That's a heavy warrior set, level 90.
Hey, what?
It's the same as the one next to it, but this one's for female warriors.
This one here, and that. And you want to tell me that these suits of armour are on a par with each other?
Yep. Heavy plate armour offers ideal protection from all kinds of weapons.
But it's covered in holes, completely see-through. One sword thrust through the torso and...
I've been selling armour for 20 years, and my father before me, and my grandfather before him. Are you trying to tell me you know more about heavy plate armour than I do?
No, of course not.
Wilbur's far too accommodating. Yes, in this instance, I am telling you I know more about what I'm talking about than you. Because you clearly don't think that holes matter. Because no weapon ever went through a hole.
That is really the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. The armour covers so little, let's be honest, just the bare necessities. Doesn't look comfortable, and a warrioress would freeze if she ever wore it to the Northlands. Impressive armour. Only the shoulders appear a little impractical.
The shoulders give you armour plus 22 and agility plus 9.
Why would ridiculous shoulder plates improve agility? Wouldn't they actually restrict movement?
Well, that would be unfair. Warriors already have very low agility to start with. Lower than rogues, for example.
Ah, but can't warriors also be rogues too? I mean, if a warrior, for instance, fights unfairly or cheats at dice.
A warrior who's also a rogue? Well, how's that supposed to work? How would I know if I'm allowed to sell him the plate armour or not? Rogues are only allowed to wear leather armour. And perhaps a coat of mail. Just like hunters.
Ah, right, I get it. To prevent the armour from squeaking and frightening away animals.
This game, I love it. This game just metas from one thing right into the next. So we're talking about Headless Horseman and everything, and then we suddenly shift over to Dungeons and Dragons speak. That's great. It's so funny.
I'm sure it's just sales nonsense when they say this armour will make you into a more skillful or better fighter. What matters is who is in the armour.
And that whole, like, the impractical shoulder pads, which I agree with Wilbur on, somehow add +9 agility because reasons. There's no actual legitimate reason for that to happen, but apparently it will anyway. I mean, magic, I guess you could say, right? I guess. But why would you magic something so impractical anyway? That seems like you would want it to at least look not silly or something. Anyway, I don't know.
The fire gives out warmth and light. The people here in the dark woods must pay a fortune for wood. You can see that he's been living in fear for a long time. Poor guy. However, if he doesn't want to help me, I'm not going to try and convince him. I'm sure we'll find a way through the mountains, with or without him.
Oh, and also on the subject of doing meta with everything, the fact that his thoughts are always spoken out loud, as are the thoughts of any character. So all characters speak their thoughts out loud, and then sometimes people respond to their thoughts, which is obviously, super real, super like real life.
I wonder why he just doesn't move away. What's keeping him here? I mean, even if the Headless Horseman doesn't get him, sooner or later he's going to die, and then the village is doomed, one way or another.
It's definitely a good point. I'm
not sure what I should ask him just now.
Am I just going into the woods then? We've already looked around the village before coming in here. That might be the play. I'm not sure. We already looked at the circle. I don't think I'm going to get any more of this,
I'm
right?
not sure this would really keep a ghost at bay.
Oh, so you're a ghost expert then, eh? Have you spent your entire life in a cursed village? The only one left after everyone else is long gone, have you? Even old Reverend Sidow, who apparently knew everything about evil. Have you?
Sorry?
That at the end of his speaking is so weird. It's like I think it's just a nervous tick. Like, for example, a lot of people in America will use the word like every third word. I was gonna, like, you know, go to the thing, like, to get, like, you know, the stuff I, like, needed. I used to do that too, by the way. For me, it was just to force a habit, though, because I grew up near Seattle, and so there was a lot of that kind of thing from everybody in that area generally, especially, you know, when I was in high school, people would say stuff like all the time. So I think I just adopted a habit, but for some people it's actually a nervous tick, and that's, I think, what's going on with him at the end of his speech where I think it's just he's so nervous just generally because of constantly living in fear that he does that. I don't know if I'm going to get anything else out of here then. I didn't see anything to grab. Examined a bunch of stuff, but I am not sure. Okay, let's try to go into the Dark Woods, I guess, and see what Wilbur says.
Whoa! Does the weather always change so fast here?
The Headless Horseman! He's coming!
Oh.
That's what you thought when I stood outside the door.
Look here! Psychokinetic energy is almost off the scale!
I'm a qualified mage, but what exactly is that?
Skipped a few classes, did you? The PKE shows whether ghosts, demons, evil powers are nearby. It is the Headless Horseman, I guarantee it.
Then I must go to my friends immediately.
Stop! Didn't you hear what I said? There's a Headless Horseman out there.
And my friends.
Stop! Don't move, or I'll shoot.
How? There's no bolt in the crossbow. It's not loaded. Hello?
It's him.
He just shoot? How'd that happen? He didn't have a bolt.
Nate!
Yeah, it's not the Headless Horseman, it's Nate.
Put that thing away. What happened? Where are the others? I don't understand. A woodcutter cutting wood? There was a knight with a sword? Okay, there was a knight and anything else? There was a disfigured squire, an Igor, maybe? A dog, a knight who was taking his dog for a walk.
I knew it wasn't either of those, but fine.
Monster? There was a knight and a monster? A dragon? Or a lion?
A werewolf?
A knight and a werewolf? What do they do? What happened to the others? Oh, I get it. Gulliver has lost his head. Phew.
One of your friends was beheaded and you're relieved?
Well, better Gulliver than one of the others, don't you think?
What?
What's up with Timmy?
Yeah, of course, this guy here doesn't know that Gulliver's a zombie. That's why I forgot Gulliver and Esther, that's why. Oh, Wild Yak.
A rampaging yak? What's that got to do with the story? There were dwarves in barrels swirling around on the river. Sounds like nonsense to me. Esther, your mother, she panicked and ran away? Where to? Did she have Timmy with her? Towards the woods? Esther ran into the woods.
What? Then she's lost?
No, she's not. Come on, Nate. We're going to go see Gulliver. Then we'll find Timmy and your mother.
You can't go out there.
We'll let you know if we meet any headless horsemen. Wah!
Don't move.
Hey,
Did someone call for a bounty hunter?
that's the same bounty hunters before. Interesting. Okay.
And just as our little friend was about to go out there, you came in.
All right. I'll go into the woods and polish off any headless horsemen, robber knights, and werewolves that cross my path.
There's a little rat and a zombie too.
No problem. If we can agree on a price, I'll take care of them too.
No! They're our friends. Do not kill the zombie and the rat.
That's fine too. I'll just keep an eye out for them, free of charge.
How are you going to do that? What's your plan?
Seek and destroy.
I only see two problems there then. First, the seeking, and second, the destroying.
He's right. The woods confuse the senses. They are devious and evil. The source of the evil is in the heart of the wood. There's a clearing there with an old tree in the middle. Under the tree is a cave. That's where they live. All of those who have brought so much suffering to our village.
Not for much longer.
Who are you? We know exactly who this is. This is the bounty hunter that was working with Nate near the very, like in the first third of the game or whatever.
Who are you? And, how exactly do you propose to stop the Headless Horseman, the Knight, and the Werewolf?
I am the solution. I have means and ways of breaking anyone.
Even if weapons prove useless. Could be a ghost.
As long as the payment's right, I'll get the job done.
The payment will be princely. I'm the richest man in the village.
Hang on 1 second here. Alright, well, don't worry about it. There's a cable that got moved. It's now like kind of in the way of my foot. If I put my foot back too far, I just won't put it back as far. Anyway.
I should come with you. Our chances of success are better with two of us out there.
The last time I worked in a team, I got a wooden plank to the head.
Then you had the wrong partners. I had great partners. Ivo, Captain...
I work alone. Have the gold ready. It won't take long.
Oh, very self-confident, like all the others.
The others?
Do you think he's the first one to try to solve the mystery of the evil in the woods? Oh, I've stopped counting. Some may have found it, but none of them returned.
Come on, Nate. We shouldn't rely on the bounty hunter to find our friends. Back to camp.
Back to camp? Okay.
Be careful.
Take it easy, buddy. I'm here. Be good and sit down by the fire. By the fire, not in the fire.
What happened? Nate said something about a knight and a werewolf.
It was terrible. I'd nodded off and suddenly I heard my cream bun scream. I jumped up, ready to protect her. Then there was a flash of lightning which illuminated the gleaming figure of a knight, a paladin to be precise.
And then?
My honey blossom was out of her mind with fear. She ran into the woods, away from the paladin. I was going to run after her, but when the lightning struck again, there was a werewolf standing there. Nate screamed, Esther screamed. I tripped and lost my head. I called to Nate to run and get help from the village. The werewolf came towards me and I was certain I was done for. My body tried to defend me, but he had orientation problems. But then the lightning struck again, very close by. The wolf was startled and ran after the others into the woods.
Very sensible mercenary helmet. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe short in stature, but make no mistake. That's right. Yeah.
They're fine. I mean, nothing must be allowed to happen to them.
They went into the woods unhurt, but those creatures were hot on their heels.
I couldn't take it if Timmy... They're fine. We just need to get them back first. The mayor talked about the heart of the wood. He's pretty certain that's the source of the evil.
But why do you think Esther and Timmy have ended up there, of all places?
I don't know. Just a feeling. People have been disappearing here for centuries. I think they were lured into the woods, or, like Esther, driven. If we want to get them both back, we'll have to uncover the secret of the wood.
New scene-ish. I mean, for you it is, and it is still pretty new, but this here was actually where we started before Wilbur went down to the village. He had left Timmy and Nate and Gulliver and Esther all up here, and he had gone down to the village. So, but yeah. Yeah, it's nice, right? It's very artistically well done. I like it. Yeah, that's what I mean. So it is new because it was only briefly there and then we were down at the village. So it really is mostly new still. Yep. Yeah.
The Sorcerer Van Buren spent his last years in that castle. Pretty sure the book we're looking for will be somewhere there.
I'm not interested in the book. I want my sweetie pie back.
If we defeat the evil in the woods, we'll get Esther back, and the mayor will show us a safe way through the mountains.
Well then, let's go.
Right, I'm going to go and look for the two of them. You hold the fort here.
I'm not staying here. I'm going to help.
That's exactly what you are doing by letting Nate repair you and being my advisor. And maybe you two could make things to help me along the way. You're both much more skilled than I am.
But my wife is out there.
And your son is here. Do you want to leave him here alone? Or take him out into the evil woods?
But... all right. Bring back my cherry blossom, and just say the word and I'll be at your side.
I know. I'd better start by searching for clues and information. I need to know what I'm dealing with.
Which makes sense, of course. Obviously, that would be the place to start. Let's save it again. All right. Yeah. Okay.
A bit of fur. Could belong to the werewolf. He ran towards the woods and got a bit too close to these thorns.
Okay, so we're not going to take that potentially.
We walked all the way from Seastone, a good deal of the way off the paved roads and paths. We feared that Councillor Van Buren might be watching them. It was an arduous journey, but we were well supplied. Food, water, warm blankets. Esther organised everything. Esther looked after Timmy with such kindness. Ever since Remy's death, he has been quite changed. He was always so adventurous before. After we left Seastone, he spent most of the time tucked away in Esther's coat pocket. Even the slightest sound made him jump. And now, monsters and werewolves, oh, poor fellow.
Of course, like I said, as we know, Remy is not dead. He was, based on what Alistair said, I'm sure it was Munkus pretending to be Remy to trick Wilbur to go get the book in the first place. See, because like, Munkus doesn't even have to go to the castle himself, right? He lets Wilbur grab the book. Wilbur comes out, and then Munkus takes it from him, right? So, nice and easy.
The wool blanket is old and has been darned several times. I'm sure it came from the rubbish heap under Seastone. Still, it'll keep you warm and won't go all kaflooey.
Kerflooey, huh? I'm not familiar with that term. That's okay, obviously.
We found everything just the way it is. A few stones laid out in a circle on a sandy area, no trees close by. A perfectly built campfire pit. Then again, what does it say about a village when travellers would rather stay outside the village than rent a room there?
Yeah, the rooms could just be expensive. Maybe they don't want to spend the extra money.
What's that in the sand there? Looks like a thick-walled stone goblet, just like dwarves use. Those things would be too heavy for me to travel any long distances with, but the dwarves say that the stone goblets are fashioned to remind them of home. I'm afraid the dwarf who carried this goblet out here into the wilderness can't complain about my taking it anymore. This goblet was filled with sand. Maybe I can use it for something sometime.
So we just have normal... Oh no, we have both. Yep, we have the mug separate as well, and the sand. Woolen blanket, and we have a crossbow bolt. Okay.
The little fellow is hanging on in there. I'm sure he's trying to work out a way to help me. If you could look into that head of his, I'm sure you'd see little cogs whirring around like crazy. Nate has tried time and time again to cheer Timmy up the last few days. He even managed it occasionally, but Timmy always crept back into Esther's coat pocket. The little fella, if you could... Nate...
Yeah, that's too bad. But it'll be a happy reunion for Timmy later, I guess, when he learns that Remy wasn't actually dead.
I think Nate has been putting a few more logs on the fire since the attack, and it still doesn't radiate a real sense of security. I think Nate... and it...
Oh,
This would
glowing
be a
coal.
perfect place to grill a sausage. Not as hot as an open fire, but still hot enough. Esther said there'd be a few sausages waiting for me when I returned from the village. Then, everything turned out differently. This would be a... Esther... It's easy to see that Gulliver would like nothing better than to run into the woods after Esther. The only thing stopping him is that he can't leave Nate by himself. Thank goodness. Otherwise, I'd have another name on the rescue list.
There's nothing else to examine right now? I guess not. We could look at that. We could look at Gulliver. Or talk to Gulliver, I mean.
Every time I talk to him, I see that dreadful combination of hope and despair in his eyes. I won't do that any more than absolutely necessary.
I guess we've used up pretty much what we can interact with on this screen. I guess back down into the village. I'm seeing if there's anything... We can look at this, I guess, from here.
The sorcerer Van Buren spent his last years in the castle. He didn't trust his brother, and he wrote down a means of destroying his brother's powerful wand. As soon as we've rescued Timmy and Esther, we'll find a way to reach the castle, with or without the mayor's help. The sorcerer Van Buren... He didn't trust... As soon as we...
I feel like we're very possibly at least going to end up going over to here. Also, I didn't mention it before, but you see how over here there's this mine? We might end up going over there too. Oh, footprints. I missed those. Okay.
Footprints? I'm no expert, but I'd say that these are Esther's footprints. They lead towards the woods, which would tally with what Gulliver said. Traces of both the werewolf and of Esther, but none of the paladin.
Yeah, I guess at this point, we just go into the village again and then to the woods from there. I suppose. We didn't hear anybody running by, though? It's strange. Yeah, enter the woods. Yeah, let's go and do that.
The moment I saw the spooky woods, I just knew I'd end up going in there sooner or later. No matter how afraid I am, I'm sure Timmy and Esther will be even more afraid. Whew. So far, so good. The mayor said that the woods confuse the senses. I have to memorize the way back to the village. And I should try to stay quiet. There's a werewolf, a knight, and perhaps even a headless horseman running around out here.
Wonder if the werewolf and the headless horseman are going to confront each other. No worries. No worries. Remind me the last thing you saw, Fox. I'll try to summarize what we did since then. I'll also be right back. So while you type that out or whatever, then I'll get my drink and then I'll be right back. Okay. So this might be some of the stuff you've already heard or not, but I'll just try to be brief. So, we were able to finally turn Alistair back to a human and reunite his soul. Well, so first his soul was put back into his frog body, and then to turn him human, Virgin Princess had to kiss him. Ivo has not been with anybody, even though she's pregnant. So she turned him back into a human. Nate was like, how could she be pregnant then? And the Alistair explained that because of the artifact they had from the first game, it has a powerful magic to allow what you wish to come true. And even though they didn't speak the wish out loud, and even though they had taken the artifact somewhere else, like hidden it so nobody could get it. The wishing that Nate had to become a dad lingered, and the magic forced Ivo to become pregnant as a consequence. And then Ivo was like, "You wanted me to be pregnant, or wanted to have me to have your baby?" And Nate was like, "Ah," and they dropped to his knees and proposed. Then they went back to where the pirate island was, and Mrs. Van Buren and Chantal were there, and Mrs. Van Buren went to turn Alistair into a statue. She had the Medusa head because the red pirate had left it behind. So she had the Medusa head. She went to turn the Archmage into stone, but in the process, Ivo was in the way. So Ivo was going to get turned into stone. So Nate jumped in the way. Nate became a statue. Critter took Ivo back to the Mary, the flying ship, to protect her so she wouldn't get in trouble. And then Alistair forced his spirit out of his body, so his body collapsed dead, and his ghost went for for Mrs. Van Buren, and she tried to use the Medusa head, but he was a ghost. Doesn't have an effect on a ghost. It only affects physical bodies. So nothing happened. His ghost grabbed the Medusa head and crushed it, destroyed it. Then he started going for Chantal with the wand. He was going to grab the wand from her, but Chantal created 2 portals, and both Van Burens went through the portals and escaped. So Alistair's ghost went back to the Mary to talk with Ivo, and Critter basically say goodbye and basically say that, as you saw before this, the Archmage had said that Remy wasn't actually Remy. So Remy Remy didn't die. It wasn't Remy that died. So it was basically Monkus pretending to be Remy to die and pretending to die. And so Monkus tricked Wilbur again, and Wilbur is going to find the book, and Alistair's ghost told Ivo and Critter that if Wilbur gets the book, Monkus will take the book from him. Then Monkus will have the book, a powerful book, and he'll be able to take the wand back from Chantal. And between having the book and the wand, he'll destroy the world. So Alistair, his ghost, is coming here to try to tell Wilbur, careful, you shouldn't go get the book. But in the meantime, Wilbur doesn't know. Wilbur still thinks Remy's dead. So Wilbur came here. He came into this small little village. The village apparently is haunted by the Headless Horseman, apparently. And in addition to everything else, so Wilbur came with Gulliver and Esther, the 2 zombie, husband and wife, and their little boy robot, Nate, and little Timmy, Remy's nephew, that was in Wilbur's pocket. All of them came to this little campsite above the village. They stayed there while Wilbur went down to talk to the mayor of the village and found out about the Headless Horseman. Come to find out, Nate, the little robot, came down. In the number 8, Nate, the robot, came down, told Wilbur what happened. Apparently, a werewolf showed up at their camp and was being attacked by a knight. And anyway, it scared Esther. And so Esther, with Timmy, both, they ran off into the forest. So now and Gulliver had lost his head. We put Gulliver's head back on. Well, we gave the head to Nate, and Nate, being the robot, figured out how to put the head back on Gulliver. And now we've come down to the forest to try to find Esther and Timmy. Basically, we need to get up to a castle that's up on a hill, but the way to the castle is a bunch of ravines with razor sharp rocks and unstable cliffs and so on. We don't know a safe way to get through there. The mayor does, but the mayor won't help us unless we stop the Headless Horseman. So we're here in the forest. The mayor did warn us that the woods will deceive your senses and make you get confused about where you're going and stuff. So we have to remember where we are going and stuff in the woods here. And that's basically where we've left off. So now you're all caught up. Just in time for me to save and end the stream. I'm just kidding. I'm going to play for a little bit longer. Okay, anyway.
An axe. The wooden handle is all weathered and the iron head covered with a fine coat of rust. Must have been wedged in this tree a long time. Months, perhaps even years.
Whoops.
The blade is still shiny. It looks reasonably sharp. The tree has kept it from rusting.
Yeah. Because rust is oxidation. If oxygen can't get to it, then it's not going to rust, of course. That makes sense. Still would eventually, probably. Oxygen would find some way to get in there at some point, maybe just through rotting of the stump after a while or something, but eventually oxygen will find its way. But not yet, it seems. So that's good. Okay, go further, or leave the woods. So we want to remember the path we're following. So either left or right, I guess. Doesn't look like there's a forward way. So I need to write down the directions of where we've gone and then just make sure that I know where I should or should not go. I am going to use the paper I used for the Nim puzzle earlier to write down so I can keep track of that. I'm going to use that for keeping track of where I am in the forest. Okay, so since my mouse pointer's over there, let's go. Probably the better way is to try to make a map out of it, or I don't know how much it's going to go down or anything either. I'm just going to do this. We're going to go, okay, this is start. Okay. We're going to go left. Okay, left first. Let's see what we get from there. Is there anything on this screen to examine or grab? Piece of fabric?
That's Timmy's scarf. It's torn.
Okay.
There are several branches broken here and here. Oh boy. A few bits of fur. They look exactly the same as those up by the campfire. The werewolf must be on Timmy's trail. I hope the little guy was long gone before it came by.
I was going to say, if he didn't, I was going to say that fur, if it's the same as up by the campfire, is probably the werewolf then. Go further. Look at the eyes. Uh-oh, there are eyes?
For a long time, people believed that eyes shining in the darkness belonged to dangerous animals that watch you. Turns out they're just glowing eyes without any body, hovering harmlessly in the air. Nothing to worry about.
That's just random eyes hovering. Okay, sure. They don't belong to anything like an animal that's watching you. It could be a harmless animal, but still. They're just hovering. Their eyes, whatever. It's fine. Left. I think it's just left and right each time. I don't think this is one way and this is another. I don't think so. I think this is all... Because it doesn't... If you notice, if I just go up here on the left, it doesn't blink. It's all just go further. So I think it's left or right again. Oh, no, there is down. There is back as well. And I don't know which way is which. If this is the way we... I think this is probably the way we came, but I'm not totally sure on that. Let's go down left. I don't know that that even matters, but I'll write that down. And then I'll say down and left, even though I don't know if that's actually... Timmy's scarf was there. Okay. Glowing moss?
I don't know if I like luminous moss. It gives off a bit of light. That's good, but it looks a bit spooky.
Go further. There's also the bush, of course. Let's see if there's anything else to examine. Yeah, see, if this is up and left and down and right, I think there are multiple directions. Now that I see that kind of a thing. But let's examine this.
There's something in the undergrowth here. Something big. I can't see what it is. It could be Esther. But it could just as easily be a werewolf or some other monster of the woods. I can't just stand in front of a bush and push the branches apart. What if there's a werewolf in there ready to attack? I can't see what it is. It could be Esther, but it could just...
Okay, so if we can't push those apart, should I use the old axe?
Right then. I'll get ready for battle and...
Hello? Anyone there? Oh, hello, little man.
May I ask what you're doing here? You don't exactly look like a mushroom picker.
Phew, glad to hear it. I'm on my way to my fiancé's. He lives here in the dark woods in a magnificent castle. At least that's what he wrote. The thunderstorm took me by surprise, and then suddenly this wrinkly old woman was standing there in the middle of the path. She pointed a bony finger at me and gave me a toothless grin. I was distracted, and my horse threw me and vanished into the woods with all my things.
That sounds terrible.
It is. I'm meeting my fiancé, and I don't have a thing to wear.
I'm writing down notes so I can remember what was where as well. Okay.
The old woman on the path. Sounds like she could have been a witch.
Yeah, right. She was so old and shriveled and ugly. I've never been so scared in all my life.
Another enemy to deal with.
Enemy? Are you wood pixies battling these creatures?
Ahem, excuse me, I'm a gnome, not a pixie, and I come from the mountains.
I would be very grateful never to see that face again. Hey, if you're a wood pixie and just pixieing around, then could you find the clothes I lost? I'll pay you.
We'll see.
I'll find your clothes if you stop calling me a friggin' pixie.
I'm Wilbur. Have you by any chance seen a female zombie, a rat, a knight, a werewolf, or a headless horseman anywhere in the woods?
Oh, Lord. No, definitely not. Or more like, happily not.
Probably was hiding in the bush so long, didn't even look to see what else was going on.
Do you know the way to the castle? Could you maybe take me with you?
I don't know the way. Laddie wrote me saying I should find a guide in the village. The way through the mountains is very dangerous.
Vladdy, your fiancé?
The Count.
So, what's he like?
Oh, he's a darling. Very rich and very old. I can't wait to meet him in person.
So, you're engaged to him, but you've never met him?
Why hesitate and risk someone else snapping him away from me?
So Vlad, as in Dracula, it's great. Yeah. Okay. I feel like you don't want to go to your fiance after all, but whatever.
It's too dangerous here in the woods. Come on, I'll take you to the village.
Uh-huh. Which way?
This way. Or, wait a minute. No. This way. Or, bloody hell, just follow me.
As I already said to your young friend, I won't set foot outside as long as the headless horseman is running around out here.
Then just send word to the castle asking Vladdy to pick me up from here.
Oh, I wouldn't know how. I'm afraid you'll have to wait until the bounty hunter comes back with good news. Be my guest. Make yourself at home. Oh, thank you for bringing her here. I mean, really. Thank you. Not, eh? Oh.
You're welcome.
Wilbur's like, suddenly I feel very uncomfortable. I should leave and go back to the woods where I feel more comfortable. Okay. Right. Okay. Wait. No, hang on. Let me talk to her if there's anything more. Maybe she has something more to say. Maybe not, but...
Hello.
Well, looky here if it isn't my knight in shining armor and accomplished guide.
It didn't take us that long to get out of the woods.
You should try it in high heels.
Oh, don't take it personally. The mayor didn't want to take me up to the castle either.
Yeah, but you're you, and I'm, well, just look.
Full of herself?
Why would he want to take you up to the castle more than me? I asked him very politely.
We're wasting our time. All that guy thinks about is the headless horseman, and that he could be the last villager to be kidnapped or something like that. Some of us here have real problems to deal with.
We're wasting our time, and they spelled it like you're like a person's waste. That's not how you spell wasting time, but fine.
As luck would have it, I just saw some armor for female fighters.
Yeah, I saw that too. Do you think Flatty would like it?
No idea. It wouldn't stop a hail of arrows, I'll tell you that.
Hail of arrows? That thing isn't intended for battle.
You got that right. One broad axe to the leg and it'd be game over.
A lady don't go near arrows or axes. She has others fight for her. And this kind of armor would help it along a ways.
But what if a young lady really does want to fight? Doesn't she deserve a proper set of armor?
Looking good and knowing what you want. It's the only way to get ahead in life.
I have to go. Save my friends. See you.
A hot cocoa. That'd do fine.
What? What about hot cocoa? What the? Weren't there other...
I better let us do.
Okay, there were other dialogue options, but I guess they're not available now. I don't think the mayor has anything updated, but let's check just in case.
Hello?
Oh, yes?
Yes.
This is a traditional adventurers and heroes shop, right?
Oh, absolutely. It was founded by my grandfather. He used to be very busy round here. Oh, there were giant spiders in the woods. There was an old goblin mine a day trip to the south.
That's a mine we
In
saw.
the heyday of hero tourism, we were even thinking of building a sewer system. We sell armor, weapons, elixirs, provisions, ice arrows, antidotes, anything you need. And you can pay with spider legs, goblin ears, things like that.
And what do you do with those?
It's a trade secret. If you want to sell something, you can do it risk-free. I'll look after the object in case you want to buy it back later.
You what?
Oh, yeah. In case you change your mind later. Then you can buy back the same object for the same price. It's called the market economy.
Okay.
I need something I can use to defend myself against a werewolf. Do you have anything like that?
Oh, no, we've never been attacked by a werewolf before, so we haven't got any special anti-werewolf weapons or the like. But as far as I know, any normal weapon made out of silver should do the job. What's your skill? Sword and shield? Twin daggers? Gun lance?
You mean you can fight with two daggers at the same time without mutilating yourself?
Oh, so you're a long-distance fighter. Oh. Bow, crossbow, or slingshot? As amusing as it would be to use a slingshot against a werewolf, I'd pass on that. Bow or crossbow would be better. I've got a lovely composite bow +2 in stock, but it requires dexterity 15.
I think I might be able to handle something like that crossbow.
Yes, a light crossbow is easy to use and packs a real kick. Oh, any old fool can hit something with that.
A light crossbow like that, how much does it cost?
3 gold, 7 silver and 2 copper coins. Or I'll give you a quest.
Ooh, What's the quest?
Bring me 10 wolf skins.
You just made that up on the spot, didn't you?
No, it's very important.
Sounds like a pretty generic task without any real purpose to me.
You bring me 10 wolf skins and get a crossbow as a reward. What's the problem? I haven't got any silver bolts, though.
It's like every quest from every RPG, starting quest or early quest. You have it in Gothic 2, you have it in at least one, if not more, of the Elder Scrolls games, I think, right? You've got it, I think, in Betrayal at Krondor, I think so, somewhere in there. Been a while anyway. And obviously MMOs like World of Warcraft and such, EverQuest, Lord of the Rings Online, any of those, I think. 10 wolf skins. Wilbur's probably gonna find like a crate with 10 wolf skins in it or something.
My friends up there by the campfire, could I maybe bring them here? It could be safer for them.
Of course. Not only for them. The monsters from the woods might snatch one of them instead of me.
Right. Okay. I'll let Gulliver know then.
Yeah, Gulliver? Isn't that the one who was beheaded?
Not beheaded. He just lost his head. Zombies don't mind that kind of thing.
You're not having zombies in the house!
Why not? He's lovely.
I don't want anything to do with their kind. Alive or dead, they should make up their minds. We want decent folk here in the village, not ones cobbled together out of parts of decent folk.
Well, you're a bigot, so you're a jerk.
Looks like I'm going to be helping you after all.
How do you mean?
The curse? The woods? It looks like we have a common enemy.
Right. Right. Give it a go. I mean, I have more confidence in the bounty hunter, but I've reached the point where I'll grasp at any old straw. I will.
Thanks. How motivating. This evil heart of the wood, what exactly is it? And where can I find it?
It's a clearing in the centre of the woods. There's an old dead tree standing in the middle of it. You'll recognise it when you see it.
But how am I going to find the clearing? The woods are pretty big.
And confusing. The heart of the wood doesn't want to be found. Yes, whatever it is that's sending these creatures after us, it lives in that clearing. Oh, I'm quite sure of that.
Do you think that it might be the ghost of the Sorcerer Van Buren?
Perhaps. The elders did warn us. They said you should never mess with the sorcerer. They were scared and whispered of dreadful dangers. Oh, if only we'd listened to them. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so apparently in the past, they had Count Van Buren, so the ancestor of Mrs. Van Buren's husband. So Mrs. Van Buren married into the line, right? So she doesn't count. But Mrs. Van Buren's husband, I think who's dead now, but anyway, Mrs. Van Buren's husband, who had been a merchant, was a descendant of the Count Van Buren that lived up in the castle near here. And so Chantal is a descendant, obviously, because through her dad, she is a descendant of the Count. Anyway, at one point, the people who were on a quest to destroy the Temple of the Nameless One that Wilbur visited underneath Seastone earlier. So the people that went there and destroyed that temple also apparently had other groups of their cult or organization or religion, whatever it was. And some of them came here and told the village that they had to rise up against the Count. So they did so and got the Count killed, apparently at least, got the Count killed. But in the process, the villagers believed that a curse fell on their village. And of course, the store owner is the mayor. He's the only villager left that we know of so far. Since the castle had been left vacant, before the Headless Horseman arrived and started making all the villagers disappear, that is, a different Count Count Vlad Dracul, presumably, became the new owner of the castle. And so he's up there. And then this blonde lady here, I guess, was going to be the fiance of him. So that's how that all ties in. So just so you know.
Couldn't your device help me find the heart of the wood? Doesn't it detect ghosts and stuff?
Ah, I see. You're saying that nothing around here radiates more psychokinetic energy than the heart of the wood. You might be right. You should get yourself a PKE.
Or I just get yours. Yeah.
I was hoping you could give me yours.
My detector? Never! It's my PKE. It's never let me down.
But if you give it to me, I could find the heart of the wood and lift the curse.
Or you might be killed and lose it in the woods. It takes weeks to deliver such a masterpiece of occult technology.
That's exactly why I can't hang around here waiting for another device. I need yours.
Forget it. The PKE reliably shows when anything supernatural is creeping about. And I have to know that.
All right.
See you again sometime.
I hope so. I really do.
So I guess we're looking for 10 wolf pelts. Then I turn him into the guild master of the Rangers Guild or something. Or the general store merchant and sell them. Something. Anyway. So we went over here. Let's keep going so we can eliminate, like, you know, we can know where we're going. So let's go here. And then I went bottom left again, if that's even different, but let's go here. That's where we met the blonde girl. She was in this bush here. So let's, I don't know if these are different or not. Let's go here. Again. Okay. Okay, hang on. So, and down and left might not be a thing. It might just be left, but I'm going to put down and left just in case. Down and left. And this one is, okay, bloody cloth, I'll say. That's fine there. Okay.
That's... oh no. What is that?
Who'd have thought you can trap gnomes with scraps of bloody cloth?
A werewolf trap! Impressive!
Thanks.
You're a gnome too, aren't you?
You're a sharp one.
I found my friend's scarf. Not too many other traces, though. How about you?
Some werewolf tracks and footprints made by a heavy person coming from the direction of the cliffs.
Those must be Esther's tracks.
They disappeared in the undergrowth. No traces of a knight, a headless horseman, or any other horrors.
Perhaps they're ghosts?
Exactly what I thought. Some kind of apparition. Someone is conjuring up all these ghostly figures to try and scare us.
Then we mustn't be scared.
I'm not scared of anything. Well, maybe spiders. I can't stand them. How they sit there waiting and then suddenly run off and far too many legs.
Of course. It's what is it? Which one in the Indiana Jones series? So obviously Indy had trouble with snakes. It was, who was it had trouble with spiders? Somebody had trouble with spiders, I think. Or maybe it was somebody else with rats. Somebody had trouble with rats. Anyway, whatever. Anyway.
Wow! Bounty hunter! That's just so cool. Most of us gnomes tend to be nerdy and avoid the big wide world.
You're here too? And you're some kind of mage?
Well, not a proper one. I'm trying to help my friends. No magic involved. What about you? Did the call of adventure lure you?
Gold.
Oh.
Not my dream job, hanging around in shady inns and taking on missions from greasy characters. As soon as I've gathered enough gold together, I'm going back to the caves, and will hopefully forget most of what I've experienced.
Clever trap. It got me, that's for sure.
But you're not a werewolf. Razor-sharp senses, and teeth and claws to match. The cage won't keep him for long, and fighting the beast won't be much fun.
Maybe it would be better if we carried on together. Then we can protect one another. You know what I mean?
You shouldn't even be here. Go back to the village and wait there for 3 days. If I'm not back by then, leave the dark woods and don't look back.
No way! I'm not leaving here without Timmy and Esther.
Then at least scream loudly when the werewolf gets you, so I know where to look.
I think that could be arranged. Enough talk. We have to find my friends.
I have to track down a headless horseman, and I'll kill the werewolf. I haven't crossed that off my list yet. If I stumble across your friends in the process, fine. If not, so be it.
Wilbur.
What?
My name. Wilbur Weathervane. And I'm worried about Timmy and Esther. I want them back undamaged.
I'll see what I can do.
If you get taken, scream loudly. I'm sure that could be arranged. This is a little bit confusing. Isn't exactly the right word, but kind of. I guess it is the most appropriate word. It's a little bit confusing because I went down and to the left, and then he came from down and to the left. Does that mean if I go here, I'll go back to the... I'm going to change Bloody Cloth to Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter, yeah. Yeah, if I go back, am I going to go back to where the girl had been? I don't even know. I don't know if this works or not, because it says it confuses the senses. Let me try this. So let me go just see if I can back up. Okay, so if I go back here. Why did he go, Why, what? Why did you do that? Okay. So I came from down to the left, I went there. And then this. I'm gonna get myself all confused and screwed up, huh? And then this. Yeah, I'm lost now at this point. Oh no, leave the woods is here. Yeah, so that took us back. Okay, yeah, so it's predictable. It follows the pattern. So I go here. I'll be back where Timmy's scarf was. And then I go down and to the left, and I will go back to where we met the girl. She was in this village here shaking. If I go down here, we'll be back here where the bounty hunter was. Okay. So down and to the left was here, so I can go up and to the left. That's where he went. Let's do that. Up and to the left. Okay. So up and left. Okay. And what is there anything noteworthy about this one? Maybe or maybe not. If there's not, then I'll just leave it as a blank circle on my little map that I'm making. Stonehead? Oh yeah. We'll do
you
that.
can find these stoneheads all over Avantasia. They're ancient and no one knows who made them.
I'll just put Stonehead. Of course, if we run into another, then that's useless, but still. Okay. So that all of this is go further. This other stuff is go back. Is something over here? Is that just more of that? I guess that's just going back this way. And then we can go further this way as well. Since we came from here, I guess up and to the left again. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. The map, how I'm doing it, is not gonna work. Okay, let me redo this. Hang on. Just, I'm going to do, I've used most of that paper up anyway. Give me one sec. Not seem to quite grab it. I will create a proper map, like actually not right up and to the left and stuff. I'm just going to do like a real map where you just do the arrow and it's just the direction. So we'll just go here. Okay, so say start here. Okay. That is to the village. Okay. Now we went left. And that was Tim's scarf. Okay. Timmy's scarf. Okay. And then we went down and left. And that was Count's fiance. Okay. And then we went down and left again. Really? How was that? Dang, okay. I'll do this one more time. I was taking too much space with the next map I was making. I'd run out of room really fast. Okay. Fiance. That, okay. Like that again. That. And then and then from there we went up and left. It was stone head. Okay. So now if we go up and left again. Okay.
The woods are already spooky enough where I am. But over there it gets even more spine-chilling. I bet that the evil heart of the woods is somewhere over in that direction.
Yeah. There's go further, but there's go deeper into the woods. I'm going to say... I'll call it Spooky Cave. Sure. Okay. Let's not go there yet. Let's see what else. So there's down here and then break and then here. Yeah. So just straight left from here. Anything special with this one? Looks like there really isn't anything notable. Just a circle. So I'll just put a circle. Came from there. That's going to take us back, right? Yeah. Okay. Then down and left here. Nothing special here either. Oh, except did this just took me back to where she was? I don't even know. I'm just gonna put a 1 here to keep it designated as something different from other areas. Okay. Down and to the left. Yeah. So if I let me see. I have a suspicion that this just circles back. So if I went here, spooky, and went there to 1, and then I went down and left. Now I'm here, which I think is the bounty hunter again. So I think this is where we saw the cloth. So if I go up here, that'll take me to the stone head, right? Yeah, stone head. Okay, so and that was down and to the left, did that? Yeah. So this goes back to there. Okay. Now if I, from here, go up and to the left, that's the stone head, we go here. Spooky cave again. Okay. So I go back here, it's the stone head again, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. That's not... And then bounty hunter. So there is Stonehead. Okay. And spooky cave. Oh, so to the right here goes back to the bounty hunter?
So the woods weren't just a source of wood for the villagers, they also dug clay there.
I think this is the mine. I'm going to say mine entrance. Hey, Silhouette, welcome. Okay. So this should take me back to the spooky cave, right? Yeah. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let's look at some of this stuff since we've got more things here in this part of the woods now. I don't know where to put this. Hang on. Give me 1 second. Just 1 sec. Get a couple dishes, put them in the other room, and then I can set the map over here when I'm not using it, when I'm examining things. Be right back. All right, so that's out of the way. So now I'll set my map up here for now. We'll examine this area. Not going inside the tunnel or the cave that goes to the heart of the woods. Not going inside the mine yet. We're just trying to explore the woods and figure that whole map out first, and then we'll figure out where we want to go.
Hard to say what destroyed the kiln, and when. Could have been time, wind and rain, but it could just as easily have been animals or other things.
Or other things.
My guess is that the bricks were once fired right here in the woods. Makes complete sense. Not only is there lots of firewood here, the clay is also very moist and loses a lot of weight during firing. Why would you drag all that water into the village just to let it evaporate there?
Does make sense.
Looks like some kind of press. If I had to guess, I'd say it was used to press clay bricks into shape. The hinge is rusted through. Forcing the press might make it break. I'd better repair it first.
Are we gonna take it? Okay. So I gotta repair that. None of this stuff so far combines with anything else. Let's see. Nope. And I don't necessarily think that any of this stuff will combine, but I'm checking. Oh yeah. Put the bolt into the sand?
I could make an imprint of the bolt in the sand, but I'm carrying the sand in my pocket. The imprint will instantly fall to bits.
I can't put the sand in the press or the mug, which are the only two container type things I have. So I guess we'll wait on that. Blanket. No. The mug. No. Sand. Already did the axe. It's Timmy's scarf or piece of his scarf. No. I did the press also, but just in case. And the stick finally. I think I already did this too. But okay. So it doesn't look like I can combine anything quite yet. We'll get not too many more things and we'll start being able to combine most likely.
I wonder if the villagers dug too deep and woke up some kind of ancient evil. If so, the ancient evil must have been sleeping very close to the surface.
Yeah. So yet another Lord of the Rings reference we get in here, right? Where it's the Balrog. Lump of loam. Okay.
I should be able to loosen a really nice lump of clay just with my bare hands. Yep, no problem. By all appearances, there's been no clay dug here for years. And the rain will ensure that there won't be much to see here in a few years' time.
Okay, so we don't actually go inside anything here. It looks like it's just, this is where they were doing their clay harvesting. Let's make sure there's nothing else here. But the dwarves dug too deeply, too greedily, and awoke a Balrog of Sauron. Okay, I think that's probably everything here. Okay, so it's not a mine entrance. I said mine entrance, but that's wrong. It's clay harvest, basically, is what I'll say. Okay, so that's it here, I think. I don't see anything else. Try one more time to make sure I'm not missing a sliver somewhere that highlights, but I think we've got everything we're going to get from here. That goes further into the woods, back where the way we came. Nothing with the mushrooms or lichen or any of that stuff that is growing in the area. We've already got the loam. Yeah, I think we're done here. Okay, so we got what we wanted from there. Go back here, and then we'll go back to the cave entrance. Will be the next thing over. Yep. Now that was to the right here. To the left goes to an empty thing, which then going again goes back to the bounty hunter. Or going to the bottom left. What is going to the straight left again? That's just straight to the bounty hunter? I don't remember. What is straight left? Let me see what straight left is. Is that the same? Down to the left. No. Oh. I feel like that's incorrect. Okay, hang on. We're back here. Okay, so Straight left goes to this empty thing, right? And then if I go from there down and to the left, I end up back to where the bounty hunter had been. Yeah, if I go up here, it's the stone head, right? No. Oh, okay. So that is different. So straight left is different. Down and to the left was the... And then down and to the left again. And then this was where the bounty hunter was. If we go here, it'll be the stone head. Yeah. Okay, so I had that slightly wrong. Let me rewrite this just slightly. So that's 1. And that is down and to the left. Goes here. Okay. Just scribble that. It's fine. And then this is different. So this is down and to the left is that. Okay. So straight left instead goes to this. Which one is this? Because we've been to here before. This is not where the fiancé was. Was this where Timmy's scarf was? So if I go straight here, does this go back to the start? No, that is not. Okay, this part looks the same, but I don't think so. So let me mark this as 2. Let's see if there's anything in here on the screen to grab. Oh, look at the trap.
The trap can't be detected underneath the leaves. A good bit of gnome engineering, complicated and functional, more or less.
What? And then this is the stone head? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, hang on. So Stonehead. So the cave's up here. Okay. So straight to number 2, actually, straight left. Yeah, it goes to number 2. And then if I go to the right. Very confused. Right now I'm missing. This is where the fiancé was. If I go down here, this is going to go to the bounty hunter. What the frick? Okay. Back here. Whatever. Okay, let's just go up and to the left. Instead of down to the left, down here, let's go instead over here. Okay, this goes to the spooky cave. Up and to the left from the fiancé goes to the spooky cave. Okay. So from here, straight left is this number 2 thing. And then from here, down and to the left. Goes here, right? And then up and to the left is that. Yeah. Okay, so down and to the left with number 2. Goes like this back to the fiancé. Okay. So we're back at the cave. So this is going to go to that number 2 thing, and down to the left we'll go back to the fiancé, and then we can go up to the cave. Down to the left here goes to that empty other spot, which then down to the left goes to the bounty hunter. Freaking, I swear. Okay. So if I go down here to this one, okay, down and to the left goes back to the bounty hunter. If I go straight left, that's where I just came from. That'll go back to the cave, right? Yeah. Okay. That's correct. Okay. Then if I go, can I go down here? Yeah, go down and to the right from there. What does that do? Oh, that takes us to... Is this... I think this might be where the Count's fiancé had been. If I go up this way? Yep. Yep. Okay, so we'll do it again. So down here, then down and to the right goes to the fiancé. Down and to the right goes to the fiancé as well. Okay. It's definitely, if you don't draw a map, you definitely don't know where you're going. Okay. Now, we're at the hang on. Okay, so let's go back to the cave. Okay, we go down to the left. That goes to that one, like kind of one interim spot. Now, down and to the right went back to the fiancé. What does up and to the right do? Just go back to the cave? No. What does up and the right do? Okay, I think this might be a new spot. So hang on one second here. Okay. Up and to the right here. I'm going to put this as a 3. Okay. Unless I find something significant here that'll set it apart. But there's no trap here. There's no bush. So it's not the fiancé's spot. It's not the bounty hunter. Oh, nope. This just went back to the stone head. Oh. Okay. Jeez. Okay. Okay. This one actually goes back to the stone head. Okay, so all of the exits from number 1 are now documented. Okay, we're here. Down to the left, we'll go to the bounty hunter. Oh, what is straight left? This is down. What is straight left? I don't think I did this one. Or up and to the left, whichever. This one goes back to the cave. Okay. 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 Right. Sure. Fine, if you say so. Okay, so let's go down and to the left. Back to this one. If I go straight left, which makes sense. We came from there, yeah. So straight left goes back to the cave. That's fine. Up and to the right is going to go back to the stone head, which is fine. Because we've not explored... Oh, there is also that. Hang on. Let me go back to the cave. Okay, number 2 was just straight left here. And then coming out, this went back to the Count's fiancé's spot. What does down and to the right from here do? Okay, it goes to a stump. Okay, hang on. This. Okay, and then down and to the right from here. It gets very complicated. Let me just do it like this. Okay. Okay, this. We'll say stump. Okay. Can't examine it. It just, there is a stump. Go further. I think this is all going to be just go back. I don't think there's really down on the left here. Otherwise, it'd be open more, right? I think it's all just left from here. And then... what is that? We'll just go further. What is... I thought something else highlighted here, but I guess not. Okay, go up and to the right or down and to the right. And those do look like they're different. Oh, leave the woods. Oh, is this where we... this is where we entered. This is where we entered. I'm pretty sure. So if I leave, let's leave the woods. Hang on. And if I go back in the woods, that's the very first thing is the stump, right? Yeah. Okay. So that just... I swear. Okay. Yep. Hang on. Okay, this comes around and then goes to start. Oh my goodness. I could definitely redraw this map and make it much prettier, but I'm not going to worry about it. As long as my arrows are something I can follow, I'm fine. Okay, so that took me to the start. Left. Was there anywhere else on this fiancé's spot I didn't go? Up and to the right. We came from down and to the right to get there. Or not the fiancé's part. This is Tim's scarf. Right? This goes back to the stump? Yeah. Okay, so left to Tim's scarf. We only went down and to the left before to the fiancé. Where does this go? Is this also the fiancé? No, it's a different direction. This goes to the cave. Also to the cave. Okay. Okay. Let's go back. Uh-oh. It's the stone head. Down and to the left from the stone head goes where? Here with the trap. Okay, so down and to the left of this goes back to the bounty hunter. Okay, so up and to the left goes back to the stone head. Up and... is there only up? Yeah, only to the right. Just straight right from the stone head goes where? Goes back to... I can't remember if this is number 1 or number 2. This, I think, is going to take me... yeah. Okay. So, go to the stone head again. Okay, then we go just straight to the right. And that's going to take me to number 1. Yep. Okay. This is so confusing. Okay, this goes all the way to number 1. Okay. So just go back is fine. Okay, so let's see. No exits from number 2 that we've not done. Here, Stonehead to this cave. Make sure there's not. Okay. So left up here is spot number 2. If we go here, we've come from here, so this will just take me back. Down here. Down here goes all the way back to the start, and straight right. What does straight right do? this. Takes me to number 1. Okay. Straight right here. Goes to number 1 as well. Okay. So stupid. Okay. Yep. Okay, let's just do this and go back to the start. I think our choices we want now. Okay. Yep. Okay, so I think what we want to do. Okay, let's go back to Timmy's scarf. That'll be over here. That's this one. Okay, and then just to the... We've been here. This takes us to the cave. We've been here. This will take us to where the fiancé was. This goes back to where we just came from, the opening. So we want to go to the right, just right here. And that does what for us? This takes us to number 1. Jeez, dude. Everything goes back to number 1, apparently. Okay. Okay. This goes back to the fiancé. This is here. And okay, back to the start. Okay. So I guess we go to the right here. And this takes us to the bounty hunter. Okay, so just straight right goes to the bounty hunter. Okay, so there are no paths. I don't think. Let me see. Oh, did I go down to the left from the bounty hunter? I did not. I went up and to the left from the bounty hunter. Okay, obviously to the right, as it's going to go there. Okay, let's go down. And this takes us back to number 2. My pen's kind of decided not to draw all the time. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, here's the stone head. So I can go up to go to the cave. Should take me. All right, so now we have pretty much just the cave, I think. Pretty much everything else we've already explored. Not found any extra things to I think I've examined everything, I should say, on every one of the other spots. All the stuff circles around back to itself except for the dead end, which is the the place to harvest clay, and then this cave. Everything else circles back around, or if you go back to the starting spot with the stump, then you can leave the village, of course. Okay, so we'll go in the cave, I guess. Go deeper into the woods.
If the monsters caught Timmy and Esther, then that's probably where they would have been taken. Get on with it, Wilbur. Yes, at least the werewolf seems to be there. That's good.
Sounds like a good idea. Let's do it.
Right. The werewolf is somewhere there in the deep woods. And where the werewolf is, that's likely where my friends are too. So, let's get a move on. Oh boy. I want to help those two, but there's a werewolf there and I'm unarmed. It'd be pointless letting myself be ripped to shreds. That's not going to help anyone. Well, except maybe the werewolf. I need a weapon so I can defend myself against it.
Okay, so I need to get wolf skins somehow, which is like the crapping. How am I going to get that? Okay, so Stonehead. So I want to go down to the left. Is the bounty hunter spot. Traps here. And then if from the bounty hunter, I go over here. Takes me to, yeah, I don't think I wrote that. Up and to the right from the bounty hunter takes me back to the start. Okay. So, I don't know where I'm going to find the wolf skin or the wolf fur. Okay, let's leave. That's this way. Because I've explored, as far as I could tell, I've explored everywhere in the woods. So I don't think there's a place in the woods where I'm going to find the wolf skins. So what I need to do is, I don't know, something in the village here, or maybe back up at our campsite. Somewhere I'm going to have to find wolf skins. I don't know how I do that. Enter the woods. All of this is enter the woods. There's nothing else more, nothing more up there. What if he has an idea on what I could do?
Gulliver!
Wilbur, how can we help?
I found some traces of the werewolf and of Esther, but strangely, none of the paladin.
He was there. I saw him as plain as day, just as I see you before me now.
I believe you, but he left no tracks whatsoever. There should be a lot of psychokinetic energy in the heart of the wood.
What's that?
Well, it's a kind of energy emitted by supernatural things. You can locate it using a little device with arms attached. Could you make a device like that?
A little device with arms sticking out. Not exactly a precise description. Can you get me the blueprints? Then Nate and I can try our luck.
No, I don't think so. If we can't build a PKE detector ourselves, then we're going to have to get hold of the mayor's somehow. But he doesn't want to give his up because it reliably detects supernatural beings.
What do you suggest?
I'm working on it. I think you might be safer in the village than here. I asked the mayor if you could wait there.
Let me guess what he said. I'm not having zombies in my house.
Why doesn't he want to help you?
People don't know us, and they're afraid of what they don't know.
Perhaps I should talk to him again.
In Seastone, I thought that success and enough money might make people forget who we are, but they don't, ever.
Could you maybe repair this press, Gulliver?
Nate, that's a job for you, isn't it? The boy has long overtaken his old man when it comes to repairs.
Drutdeling, he says.
What?
Doc,
That's it? Wow, you're quick. Right then, hold the fort.
We're here if you need us.
Alright, so look at it, I guess.
Thanks to Nate, the old clay press is once again fully functional.
I don't need that. Okay, so I'll put the clay in there.
A perfect clay brick.
This in there. Make a cast, yep.
An absolutely perfect impression of an iron bolt. I'd better not put the impression into my pocket. It could get distorted. But I could use it here in the area if I'm very careful.
With something else? No? I need silver of some kind, right? I need silver to go. So I need a couple of things. I need 10 wolf pelts somewhere to get the crossbow. And then I also need some silver so I could put it in the press or in the mold here and then create a silver bolt. And then I can go in with a crossbow with a silver bolt and fight the werewolf. Could be, but that would be a little suspicious. Unless, so if what Nate heard, or not Nate, sorry, if what Wilbur heard past the cave was just a normal wolf, not a werewolf, just a normal wolf, or could have been another werewolf, but whatever, was not, if what he heard past the cave, let's say, was a normal wolf, then it's possible that the mayor could be the werewolf. Although it's a full moon, I would expect the mayor to be a werewolf form right now, right? But let's say that's not how it works. Still, if a normal wolf is past the cave, then the mayor could be a werewolf if the full moon doesn't affect him. Otherwise, though, if the werewolf is on the other side of the cave, and if there's only one, then I don't see how the mayor would be that, because wouldn't the countess's fiance notice him leave? Also, wouldn't like he's so scared of everything he wouldn't go outside. So I don't feel like there's enough evidence to suggest the mayor could be the wolf. It is a possibility. I'm not going to say that. I could always be wrong. I just don't see the evidence pointing to him being a werewolf, but maybe he is, and maybe it'll get explained. I'm not sure. How am I going to... I need to get wolf pelts, but I don't have a way of getting wolf pelts, so I'm not really sure. I'm going to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Hang on.
The little fellow is hanging on in there. I'm sure he's trying to work out a way to help me. If you could look into that head of his, I'm sure you'd see little cogs.
Talk about that before. Okay. What is... Oh! Okay, so we could just go straight to the clay mine from there. And then this is that cave? Yeah, okay. So we could always just skip the rest of the woods now that we've discovered those areas and just jump there. I still don't know what that is. It's probably where we encounter the werewolf or whatever at some point. Oh, and we can also just enter the woods if we want. Okay. Let's find out. Let's see if the fiance has anything more. Maybe she could help me get wolf pelts or something. I don't even know.
Hello.
What?
That wolf skin you have there, could you give it to me?
What? Get your own.
But I need it. No, actually, I need 10.
But what about me? I'm supposed to freeze just 'cause you need a fur?
If you're cold, I'd be happy to give you this nice warm wool blanket.
Thank you, but this fur is just fine.
Yes, but...
I don't know why this game has that glitch. It's a recurring problem. Sometimes the voice will just be all echoey and quiet in the background for some reason. It's so weird. I've even had places where that happened, and then was seeing if there was more to say or something, and I clicked again, and it was exactly the same line, but it was spoken normally, not all echoey and weird in the past. That's so messed up. Well, yeah, I assumed. I mean, they could have potentially gotten somebody from the South. Yeah, it doesn't sound all that Southern. There's way too much. There are places where the twang is forced, and there are places where there's not an accent really present when there would be. Yeah, you could tell it's not a real Southern accent.
Don't you think that fur looks a little, strange?
What do you mean?
Well, it's just... Oh, I don't know. It's not that chic.
But furs is so fluffy and warm, and I really don't care what those crazy animal protection people say.
Oh, it's not that. It's fashion. In Seastone, the ladies there use wool blankets. Lovely.
Are you kidding? Oh, I just remembered. Vladdy in one of his letters once described wolves as his children of the night.
Well, in that case, you really don't want to be caught with a wolf skin, do you? And it just so happens I have a really beautiful wool blanket on offer today.
Much better.
She's super smart. Yeah, it's overdone. Well, that's what I was saying. I actually, now I might have misheard, but I thought there were some spots just occasionally where she didn't have any accent at all, where you would normally hear a little bit of lilt from the Southern accent. In addition, when she like puts the twang and whatever, the pushes the attempt at the accent, it's heavy-handed. Yeah, it's too strong. It's too much. And I'm definitely not like an expert with accents, but I have studied, like I listen and I do study kind of subconsciously, I guess, or whatever, but I do study how things are said, and you can tell, or at least I could tell the difference when it's like, it's not really, I mean, that's one. How am I going to get 9 more of these?
So that's one wolf skin. Now, where on earth am I going to get 9 more of them?
Yeah, that's I don't know. There's nothing more around here that looks like a wolf skin, though, right? That I could just knife stuff from him and then pretend like it's like in some other game, like 7 Days to Die or something, where you get a reward and then you immediately sell it right back to the vendor or something that gave it to you. It's like, that's not cheap, but it is what it is. Anyway, if they're going to let you do that in a game, I think it's silly, but I mean, if they're going to let you do it, you might as well. Anyway, that's kind of the same thing here. I give him one of the 10 wolves I acquired by giving him back one that was already in his shop. 10 more, or 9 more, I should say. 10 in total, but 9 more wolf pelts. How am I going to get... I can't give it to them to potentially replicate. So what else can I do? Let's see if I go. Oops,
Every time I
where?
talk to him, I see that dreadful.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not talking to him anymore. Nate's just thinking of how to help Wilbur, but not really doing much beyond that. If I go to the mine.
Every time I talk to him, I see that.
Nope. No. Where's the? Here we go. Go to the mine. Or not the mine, but the whatever where they did the clay. There's nothing else left here to help me get 9 more things of fur. Yeah, I don't know. Let me grab my map again as I get out of there. Okay, so this will go back to the cave. It's not going to go in there because it's scary right now and he has no weapon. What I want to do... So, I'm going to go here, I think. And then it is down and to the right is the stone head. No, that's start. Well, okay. Oh, that's right. How did I? Oh, it was up and to the left of the other one. So that was from number 2. I was thinking that was down to the right, but that's not. That's number 1, up and to the right. Goes to the stone head. That's fine. We can get to it from here. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so I'll go here, straight left to Timmy's scarf. Well, where his scarf had been. Go down to where the fiancé had been. Down to where the bounty hunter had been. Here's the trap.
The bounty hunter hasn't deactivated the trap, probably hoping for a chance capture. I should stay clear of it. It could be a long time before someone comes to rescue me this time.
I shouldn't have clicked it because it went away, but I didn't know it was going to go away. That's unfortunate. Oh well. That's fine. This goes back to the stone head. This is going to take me over to number 2. What do I want to do? I had hoped maybe there was something with a trap. He'd say, I don't even know. I don't know what I was hoping. I was hoping there was something that I could do to get more furs, but I'm not seeing. What do I have with me? None of this stuff, yeah. I don't know. I'm not seeing. Okay, there's the start spot, which had just the stump. We couldn't even examine it. Basically, was nothing. Going right from there brings us to here. Going left from there goes to Tim's scarf. We're only the 2 directions from that starting spot. Anyway, so the very first place we come into when we come into the woods doesn't have anything that I could think of. The place where Tim's scarf was, there was just the scarf piece and that was it. The fiancé was in the bush and that was all that was there. The bounty hunter is where we are now, and that trap went away. There's nothing else here. The stone, I don't think there's anything at the stone head, right? There's nothing here we could use for fur. Like to get more wolf pelts. Go back to the cave. There's nothing here we can use either. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't see anything for replicating, duplicating something. So I don't know how we would do that. Thin wooden stick. I don't know what I would use this with either.
Every dwarf makes a travel goblet out of stone from their home mountain and then decorates it with their coat of arms. It's part and parcel of coming of age. A dwarf can only go travelling and sleep under the stars once they've got their own stone goblet. A standard crossbow bolt made of iron, about a human hand long and very heavy. I wouldn't like to be hit by something like that. Unfortunately, completely useless against werewolves. Only thing that works against them is silver.
Yeah, I don't have anything that's silver is the problem.
An old axe, the handle and the parts of the head are very weathered, but the blade is still reasonably sharp. An old axe, the handle and...
Yeah, but that's not of any metal we really...
A bit of sand from the stone goblet, dry, but not especially fine. A blood-drenched piece of cloth as bait for a werewolf. My first thought was that it belonged to Timmy, but it's probably just pig's blood or something like that. At least I hope it is.
Could maybe put the cloth on the trap? Would that work? Maybe. So what is from here? This is that. So I want to go here. Yeah, and this is where the trap was. But I can't highlight the area anymore, so I don't think that's going to work either. Crud, I don't know. Got to be something maybe outside of here? I don't know.
Hello?
Oh, yes?
Look! A wolf skin.
You still need 9 more.
You didn't even look at it.
It was a wolf skin. You're missing 9.
Do you really need 9 more skins? I mean, you weren't even interested in the first one.
The quest is 10 wolf skins for a light crossbow. 1 skin has been handed over. 9 are still needed. If it'll make it more fun for you, I can think up a story about why I need them.
You don't happen to sell wolf skins, do you?
Oh, sure, yes. 1 wolf skin for, 3 harpy feathers.
He makes it
forget
up
it.
as he goes. He just makes it up as he goes along. Ah. So that didn't do anything. That didn't do anything. That didn't. Okay. Oh, I could ask. I don't think he's got a blueprint though.
Could we talk about the detector again? I really do need it badly to find the heart of the wood.
And I needed to detect supernatural threats around me. As long as the device reliably warns me of any spectral activity, it's an essential companion.
Yeah.
See you again sometime.
I hope so. I really do.
Well, that was not great. So I gave him the wolf skin and I got nothing else out of it. Well, I don't know. Okay, we're going to end it for now, I guess. I can't stay up too much longer because I need to make sure I... And then some of them are real. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's with any accent, right? It makes it... Well, depending on the person. So some people might find it frustrating or confusing, or they might find it odd or whatever. I find different people's accents fascinating. Like how being isolated in a particular place over time causes the local people there to develop some parts of their pronunciation in a certain way that differs from everybody else. And some of the stuff stays the same, of course. It's still English, but it's just got an accent, right? And so it becomes kind of this fascinating, why is it pronounced like that in this case? Whereas in like some other locations pronounced a different way. Like the reason behind all those is very interesting to me because I just don't know the story a lot of times, right? How did this develop as it did over time? I don't find it like any kind of source of mockery at all, actually. I just find it interesting that it's, you know, that it differs from place to place depending. So, okay, so that's going to be it for tonight. So in about 10 and a half hours, a little under 10 and a half hours, we'll be doing more of the splitting. And then the next stream after that, we'll be doing continuing Get Even. So I look forward to seeing you guys there if you can make it. Till next time. Peace.
Poor spider.
This freaking boy. Oh, that's so sad.